Back in town, Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. Great to be back in the mothership. That's where I like the work that we do outside of here, but I just feel cozier and safe in our little cocoon here. Let's get our heads right on a Monday on Ben and Woods. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl, the executive producer of the program. Good morning, Paulie.
Hey, how are you?
Doing great, buddy. How are you?
Doing fantastic.
It was good to see you yesterday.
Good to see
you. It was
you
nice
as well.
to see Paulie out at Tier 1 game. We got our teeth kicked in yesterday, 5-1. It's kind of a bummer, but it happens. You know, a lot of baseball left, and don't want it to be a melancholy Monday about over an adult league baseball game.
I like the way the game was played.
I don't actually, Schulte. We didn't play great defense. We didn't hit. We got no hit until the 7th inning. It was kind of tough.
Of course.
Yeah, it happens though. I mean, that's kind of the nature of the beast in baseball, right?
Really cool.
It wasn't cool at all. It wasn't cool at all. I feel like, could have won that game if we just hit the ball, played some better defense. But it happens. We got 14 more games. We're going to be all right. All right, this team hasn't played its best baseball yet. That's something I do know. We're going to be there at the end. All right, to my left, Benjamin R. Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor, joins us as well. And my man over here, to my left, lived out a complete and total fantasy of mine. Not that, because I've already done that a couple times, but the one that it has eluded
a threesome
me.
Would be fun.
No,
not that one.
Not that one. That one. That's old hat. He lived out a fantasy of mine that I am pretty certain is never going to happen. And it happened to my friend Ben. And let me tell you, not only did you spin me out the entire weekend, you spun my entire family out. My 7-year-old will not stop checking on this. He will not stop checking on it.
Here. As all good stories begin, it starts at my grandmother's memorial.
Yes.
Which we went up to on Saturday in Los Angeles. Long weekend, obviously we drove.
Shout out to his family.
Yeah. Sweet angel.
Drove home from Arizona on Friday.
Yep.
Played golf with you Saturday early.
Early
and then
morning.
about 11 o'clock, hopped in the car and drove up to Los Angeles to her home where she lived for 65 years.
Hold on. Now stop.
Yeah.
Number one. So we're at spring training, and I asked Ben on Friday, so where did your grandmother live?
She lived in Brentwood on Rockingham Avenue.
I've heard of that street.
Sounds familiar. It was a famous street, especially in the 1990s, as the home of one O.J. Simpson as well. Now she didn't live next. O.J. was on the other side of Sunset, but same address, same part of town.
When Ben tells me we're driving out to Brentwood to go to my grandmother's memorial on Rockingham, I'm like, all right. So number one,
given the logistics, and he might have driven right past her house on the way from Ron and Nicole's to his house, possibly.
Oh my God,
on that day.
Oh
But
my God.
we're up there. It's family and extended family, and my mom called it the wrap party, just to say
Very sweet.
I like that.
It's very cute.
a final
I love that.
farewell to her and the house, which is going to be sold and kind of torn down. There's no one left for it anymore, and it's very old. Obviously, it's been there for decades and decades.
Crazy.
But it was just as you'd expect. They had some tacos, and we were there, and speeches were said by my uncle and my mom, and they were great, and everyone remembered my mother, or my grandmother Rachel, and what a sweet and wonderful lady she was.
Your favorite, right?
Yes.
You guys were super close.
And we're also, though, saying goodbye to the house. So everyone's kind of walking around the different rooms, looking at the pictures and the art on the walls, including the big painting above the fireplace, which is this is embarrassing.
I've got it.
Yeah, someone sent it to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a painting of me. And now it's not like a portrait; it's more of a landscape that just includes like a 3-year-old me playing in a field of flowers with Walter the dog.
Now that's
like a sheepdog. Yeah.
Now somebody actually
Walter the dog. I like that.
Somebody actually painted that.
Someone painted that.
And that was actually you.
That was me in the painting.
That is incredible. That's your sweet little Ben in the. Maybe I can just hold it up right here. Maybe on the. That's you.
Yep, that's me
playing in
the little blue
field of
little
poppies or something.
Outfit. Yeah, in a field of like daffodils along the coast. Now I was not in like pose for that. I think it was just artistic license. Just
Okay.
Put me in from a picture of me and the dog, and just put me in the painting.
So you're walking around the house.
Yeah,
everyone's
walking around the house and just kind of looking around, and there's there's always been kind of a basement that's just kind of a dank staircase downwards. In fact, when my grandfather passed away, and this was 25 plus years ago, that's where a lot of his important documents, there was a safe down there and, cash and everything. And they, that when he passed away, they had to find all of that.
So they found years ago a
safe. Just a regular safe that was down there, standing, regular, normal safe, combination. And they got it open, found all of his stuff. But underneath, even below at the floor, there's some sandbags and some dirt. And I don't know who it was that was like moving things around, but they moved around these sandbags that hadn't been touched in decades. And they find below the sandbags another secret safe built into the floor.
Okay,
here we go. Into the concrete under the floor.
Here we go.
And there was some dirt over it and some sandbags over it. This thing is well hidden. And it has somehow they find even somewhere the combination of this safe as well, but it's all rusted and everyone's trying to get it open with the combination, but it's so rusty and old that the combination won't work anymore. So, I mean, the speculation as to what could possibly be in this safe is pretty rampant because there was
I'd say
the regular safe had some valuable
had some cash in it.
Cash, like lots of $100 bills and stuff when he passed away. What could possibly be even more secret,
$1,000 bills
and valuable in the second safe that nobody knew about?
I'm looking at my phone when you texted us a picture of the safe. It was 5:26 p.m. on Saturday. Both Woods and I, had you given us the green light, we would have been there in 2 hours and 20 minutes.
I would have rented a welding thing. Not that I know how to use it. But the welding mask, right. Paulie, bring a crowbar and a sledgehammer. I've seen enough movies. We're going to get into this thing.
And I've got relatives, from Yuma, Arizona. They're all resourceful, determined, hardy farm folk that are wanting to get into this thing, but no one is able to get into it. So
I would have found a way.
I asked my mom yesterday. She said,
we're going to
have to get a professional safe cracker to come in and figure it out.
LA has to have.
I'm sure that there's a service somewhere they're going to have. I mean, they have to get it done before they say goodbye to the house completely. It may end up being in an Al Capone's vault, Geraldo type situation
nothing in there.
Where there's nothing in there, or whatever was in there has become damaged or disintegrated beyond all recognition.
I'm dying
Call
to know.
De Niro's crew from Heat. Val Kilmer will get in there in 30 seconds. I'm not worried about it even a little bit. Okay,
there's drills and chemicals probably needed and involved to get this thing open, but it is definitely the final mystery.
So I showed my kids. We had just gotten done with dinner on Saturday. We got in the van and I go, "Oh my God, I got this text." And Bo was sitting right next to me. I showed him and he goes, "Oh, wow." And I showed Taylor. And Hannah was driving. She's like, "What is it?" So I tell everybody. Bo goes nuts. When he woke up yesterday morning, he's like, "Did they find out what's in the safe yet?" I'm like, "Not yet, dude. I'm still working on it."
Right, talk to me when they do.
He was so fascinated when I showed him that picture. He goes, "Let me see it again." So I showed him again. I was like,
I guess, I think the dream would be, valuable,
sure,
jewels, gold, some sort of.
I was thinking it's going to be like a map to some national treasure type.
It's possible.
Gold mine.
Gold bars.
With my grandfather, though,
the
being
Declaration of
as
Independence,
well connected as he was in the sports and entertainment world in Los Angeles, what's really intriguing is if there are secrets potentially in the safe.
I can't say that I didn't think about it. If you've ever seen the Nicolas Cage movie,
maybe the first thing I thought of.
If you've never seen the Nicolas Cage movie 8mm, you should. I'll be honest, I'm really hoping there's not a snuff film in there. Okay. And if you don't know what a snuff film is, you're gonna have to Google that yourself. I don't know how you're gonna get through it if there is. Don't tell us, okay? Because I don't want to see it.
I don't think so.
I don't want to know about it. But yes, the only thing that I kept thinking about was this. Why did you have a safe down there? And then you had another more secret safe. What's the point of that, Mr. Curlin?
It is definitely a mystery.
Bo goes, he goes, "What if there's a rat in there?" And right when they open it, the rat jumps out. I'm like, very well, could be. I doubt a rat's going to survive in a safe underground.
Maybe there's a hole at the bottom of the safe and the rat was living
down through it.
No, it's possible.
What is in the safe? I need to know.
But I mean, other things that we found, a picture of my grandpa on the Johnny Carson show,
which is
really
insane.
cool. Like sitting at the desk of Johnny being interviewed.
It's
when
insane.
He appeared on the show one time.
Did you know
really
that?
Cool. I think I had heard it at some point, but the picture was very cool. His friend Walter Matthau was there with him, sitting on the set of the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson and being interviewed, as the doctor to the athletic stars of Los Angeles.
It's such a Ben was texting us a picture. I go, oh my God, that's your grandfather with on Johnny Carson, not like at a dinner or something, on the show, like just
sitting in the one chair. Yeah,
sitting in the one chair. And then the safe. Oh, the mystery of the Curlin safe is going to drive me bananas until I get it figured out. So what is the plan?
I talked to my mom. She said, yeah, they're going to have to find someone who does this professionally and hire them to.
I don't know that you can look up safe cracker in
you could.
Locksmith
of some sort. Yeah.
How sturdy was it?
It wasn't huge. I mean, it wasn't a giant safe. I showed you there was a shovel next to it. It probably, enough to have some, I don't know, documents, some small things in there.
Squirrely says maybe there were shares of
diamonds
LA Lakers
are very small though. So
diamonds, jewels,
but like
gold bars.
Those seems like that all seems like something you would keep in your first safe.
Maybe
I would think so.
What is so elevated that it's beyond the first safe that everybody knows about?
His championship rings that he had from all we have those. They weren't in there either. So I mean, those are all things that weren't valuable enough to go into the second safe. Oh. Interesting.
The Pulp Fiction briefcase. When you open it up, just the light shines out.
We good?
I am.
Jules, we good?
We're good.
We good.
I am fascinated. Beyond. So I'm going to need an update as soon as you get it. I mean, if it's midnight, it doesn't matter.
If I hear anything, I will text you immediately.
Can we open it on the air?
We'll let everybody.
We'll do a Roldo's bit. I swear to God, if you said, come on up, dude, I would have abandoned my family.
The equipment up in the basement and do a show live from the basement on Rockingham. The safe is finally opened.
Doubloons, somebody says. Yeah, doubloons. There's some old pirate treasure. There's nothing. You're going to open it's just going to be like some ratty ass documents that don't mean anything. But
says maybe it's the other glove.
Could be the other glove. Same street.
It was Rockingham.
Hey, hide this for me. All right. I mean, I am just. I'm fascinated by this. Fascinated. So other than that, how was the service?
It was good. It was good. I mean, emotional. It was a long, tough day. When I showed up this morning, the first thing Wood said to me was, "You look like you were ridden hard and put away wet."
He did. He looked really tired. You look really
tired. Not
what
you hear from anybody first thing on a Monday morning.
Just worried about it.
It's a long. And then I worked last night, so it was a long weekend with all the travel.
Well, at least you're going to retire soon with the contents of the safe, if those are what we think they
there were
are.
a lot of people at that wrap party as well that probably would like to think they have a claim.
All
to
right,
the safe,
let me ask you this: how many people get a taste of the safe if there's something in there?
Don't know.
Finders keepers.
Direct lineage would be my mother and her two siblings.
Yeah, 100%. Oh, here we go. Could end up in probate court. Unless he's got a trust.
Another, and I have cousins that I haven't seen in years that were there. So you kind of trying to catch up with family and, try to even remember family's names at certain points can be difficult. My cousin Kevin, who's, from the Bay Area, ran into a friend the other day who was so excited to see him. He said, "Are you related to a Ben Higgins who's on the radio in San Diego?" And he goes, "Yeah, why?" He said, "Well, I heard him talking about his grandfather, Dr. Curlin, and I know that was your grandfather as well. So you're related to him." He goes, "Yeah. I mean, he says, "Oh yeah, I'm a tier 1. I listen to the show all the time. I didn't know he was related to you, that he was your cousin." So,
that's amazing.
Yeah, we've got a reach that's extended out there.
Yeah, Paulie and I got spotted at a gas station in Gila Bend, which was very nice by a nice gentleman. Said he listens every day.
Brian and his family.
Yeah, beautiful family.
He didn't live there, did he? He was passing through as well?
No. I don't know how many people in Gila Bend actually
they were staying at the weird UFO
motel, the Space Age Motel. I've always wondered who stays at the Space Age Motel.
It dumbs me out every time I drive through there.
I mean, why
can't you just keep going?
What exactly? What's the?
You're 45 minutes from
45
Phoenix.
minutes from Phoenix.
Is it just because you're so tired? Well, maybe you're going like you're driving coast to coast and you've got just a few hours left, but you can't make it, and that's as far
You
as
can
go.
suck it up for
But why didn't you
45.
just stop in Phoenix?
Stop in Phoenix,
Stop in Phoenix.
and
or
rest there.
Tucson or somewhere else.
Yeah.
But really, like Gila Bend was the place that you chose
Well, you-
to stay at that space age motel.
You drive up the strip in Gila Bend, and there's 15 hotels and motels. You're like, for what? Was
Seven of them were like abandoned, like completely, falling apart and abandoned.
KG says you guys have zero sense of wonder. Yes, I don't want to sleep at hotels with crabs, dude, and bed bugs, and that have been around. I mean, they're dilapidated as all get out. When I can drive to, if I'm driving,
It looks
across-
like a
I mean,
movie set.
It looks like a movie set.
This is the plot of the movie Cars. Lightning McQueen. I'm sure you've seen it with your kids,
No.
right? It's their little town gets passed over by the freeway, and it used to be a big hub where everyone stopped. And now no one goes, and everything's old and falling apart. It's Gila Bend. Is Radiator Springs from Cars, essentially.
It's also the plot of Psycho, where you stop at a desolate motel and you get slit in half. So there you go.
Oh, well, that was an interesting way to start the program today. Hopefully, have a good week this week. We'll set the menu for you. Coming up, we have so much to get to from this weekend in terms of Padres, Aztecs, SDFC, and their opener. We will talk all about it. First, though, speaking of who's going to get the
Gold bars and doubloons
from the safe, it may be too late at this point to establish that, but you can go to trustandwill.com and bequeath to your relatives, to your kids, to your family exactly what they should have if something should happen to you in this life.
Get all the doubloons that you can, right? And make sure your family actually gets all your doubloons after you pass away. You don't want them to end up in probate court, so you're going to need to have a trust, right? If they do end up in probate court, it costs 3 to 7% of the estate's value, and legal fees can take 9 to 18 months to settle. That's not something you want your loved ones going through after you die.
And when you go to trustandwill.com and use the code San Diego, all one word at checkout, you're going to get 10% off and free shipping of your estate documents. They come right to you. You sign them, you put them in a safe place, and then hopefully you don't need them for a very long time, but you have them and the peace of mind that goes with having those documents.
That's exactly right, my friends. Just head on over to trustandwill.com. Use the code San Diego, one word, when you check out. Get 10% off. I'm getting dragged, Ben, for not seeing a bunch of kids' movies. I have not seen Cars. I've seen snippets.
I was surprised that you hadn't seen Cars. Again, it came out when my kids were kids.
Yeah.
I must have watched it 40 to 50 times.
Like I know Lightning McQueen is.
Yeah.
They have the toys and stuff.
Mater was the one that
no.
Larry the Cable Guy does the voice, and he's the one that's a little rough on the parents during the rewatches.
I consider myself a involved and good father. That said, when it comes to like movies and music, I don't bend very much. And it's not like, Dad, will you watch Cars with us? I'm like, no, you need to go watch The English Patient. Nothing like that. It's like, when they're watching Cars, they're like into their zone. So I'm like, okay, cool. I can go do something else. Right. They've never asked me to like watch them. They have said, Dad, can we watch this? And I'm like, no, let's watch this. This is better. Now I let them watch movies that are probably too old for them, minus the probably. Definitely. My dad did too. I turned out fine. Right?
Let's watch Heat instead.
They love Heat. The huge Heat fans.
Of course your kids love Heat.
Yeah, they love Heat. Yeah. Fantastic. Now I fast forward through any of the, there's a couple scenes in there that are pretty gnarly. But the real violent ones I fast forward through. I just like them to hear the dialogue. But yeah, man, I haven't watched many of the Pixar movies and things like that. I'm sorry.
I mean, some of them are actually pretty good movies.
That's what I hear.
Yeah.
That's what I hear.
We should have a good show for you today on a Monday, as Wood said. It's good to be back in the studio. It was great.
They've never seen like Lion King or Toy Story.
Yeah, without me. They watch it with their mom. Yeah, I'm not saying they can't watch them. I just don't ever really watch them with them. We watch a lot of sports, though. We do watch a lot of sports together, which is nice. And like last night, we watched The Sandlot as a family. It was great.
It's good, as Wood said, good to be back in the studio. It was great being out in Arizona last week, and I thought we had some terrific shows. Appreciate everybody tuning in for all of our Padres coverage and interviews on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And we'll certainly talk more Padres today and chat with spring training Sammy, who we left behind. Almost feels like he's forgetting a piece of luggage just leaving Sammy in Arizona, but he's supposed to be there continuing his coverage, 3 games over the weekend. Continuing that battle for the 5th starter's job, starting to at least be a little bit of separation. Yeah. We can talk about that coming up, but I also want to get into the SDFC match. Have not given up a goal yet this franchise history.
Another clean sheet, man.
Clean sheet, but it didn't turn into a win, and there was a controversy.
Massive, yeah.
In the opener as well at Snapdragon Stadium, so we can talk about that coming up in our next segment. Some college basketball, San Diego State over the weekend, getting that altitude win in Wyoming. Plus, UCSD still trending toward a spot in the NCAA tournament field as well. And then we have our regular features on the show today. Don't do this. Take on Woods. We've got a brand new prize, which is it's interesting because Paulie said until after 7 o'clock, we can't even tell you what the prize is because it involves a concert that has not been announced yet. Wow. So in Las Vegas, with a trip to Las Vegas. So
hell of a tease.
We can't even tell you who it is, but you will have a chance to win, the first chance to win qualifying for our grand prize drawing and take on Woods at 8:20. And we got more Padres tickets for spring training this week to give away as well for the people who still want to go. There's still last week of tickets. Well, I mean, there's still 3.5 weeks left of spring training.
It's too much.
So there are people who have not been out there yet and still can go. So your chance to win some tickets to the Peoria Sports Complex later in the program as well.
Yep. It's too much.
It's a lot.
I'm ready now.
They are ready.
I think they're ready
for the most part.
Looks good.
Saw Jackson Merrill yesterday. He's ready.
He looks pretty good. Looks pretty locked in.
Pretty ready. But we will talk about it coming up and the SDFC game as well. Next here with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. GEGE 000-466.
First, though, we are back just about 7 miles away. From here, probably a little more like 10.
Yeah.
But still a very easy drive to get to our favorite card room, 7 Mile Casino.
Still damn close, man. Still close. It was great to be back. Got to get down there. Padres are coming back. When those games start, great place to go pregame. Great place to go postgame. They have phenomenal food. It's just a great environment, smoke-free, friendly people, friendly dealers, great card games.
Yes, let's talk about those card games. They got California-style blackjack, Pai Gal poker, Baccarat, and of course, the king of all card games, Texas Hold'em.
Indeed, sir.
Several tables will be going at any time with different limits. Whether you play limit or no limit. Do you know the difference between limit and no limit other than the obvious?
I think that no limit is much scarier to play.
It can be.
Yeah.
It can be. You can also win more with
true.
no limit if you're a good player, but they've got all kinds of different games.
You a no limit guy or a limit guy?
I used to only be a
no
limit guy when I started. Now I play the lower kind of ante and blinds no limit games.
But if there's a lower ante and blinds, doesn't that feel like that's a limit?
It's not a limit because you could bet $1 on your ante or in your
and then
blinds, raise $200 if you want it. If you got it in front of you,
I get it.
You raise whatever you want.
Mama.
Yeah,
Surprised you do that, big dog.
The games, I know. If you got the cards, though, you gotta go for the big scores.
Get me excited to go to 7 Mile.
Check it out today. It's 7 Mile Casino, just 7 minutes from downtown. A little bit of everything except for goals in the first ever home match for SDFC on Saturday night at Snapdragon Stadium. First of all, let's go through the positives, Woods. I was tuning in, and you could watch that one on Apple TV Plus.
I figured it out.
I've been warned that the next one you won't be able to now, but
I can. I have the package.
You've got the pass. You're good to go.
I figured out how to get it, Paulie. You'd be so proud of me. I figured out how to get
And
Apple
cast
TV. I didn't cast it
No.
even. I had to just log in on my smart TV from
nice.
my bedroom. I had to scan a QR code, logged it in.
Yeah.
And I was like, look at this. Look at me. Can't see too well. My Paul Reindl over here.
Welcome to 9 years ago for most people. Woods,
I did it.
congratulations.
I did it.
But the energy, you could hear it, you could see it. I mean, I saw the reports. Adam was there. So like an hour plus before the game. Place was already
why were people
hopping.
why were people surprised by that? I knew that was coming. I mean, I think if you know San Diego, you know the fervor for football in this town. You know how long they've been working to bring a team here. I'm actually surprised that it wasn't 7 hours before. Adam was like blown away. I can't believe this. This is crazy. I'm like, you had to know that was coming.
I know what you're saying, but again, this is a team that most of, unless you went to the first game up in Los Angeles, which was about 1,000 people, this is still a team that no one has ever seen before.
Exactly.
To watch, and we covered it on Channel 10, to watch them marching in
was cool as hell.
Snapdragon and chanting as though they had been fans of this team for like generations. Yeah.
Ben, they have. They have. They just didn't exist yet. But they have. They've absolutely been fans of this team for 20 years, or however long they were trying to bring a team in. Look, I saw a multitude of takes online. Like I see, oh, this is manufactured. No, I think it's genuine passion and excitement for getting a team that it took forever. I mean, we remember right when we started was right in the middle of the Soccer City SDSU battle, and people were mad and saying we were taking money. I never really had a side in that point because I was not a soccer fan and I wasn't really an SDSU fan. I thought it'd be great to have a new stadium, certainly. But what has shaken out over the last 7 years, Ben, is a tremendous amount of work, tremendous amount of moving parts to get that team here. So, man, I heard people were tailgating down there way early. I know everyone was fired up. Boy, did it present well on television. My God.
I mean, to see Snapdragon actually like full and
Banging.
everybody on their seats looked pretty cool.
I mean, the smoke and like all the to-do that was made, it was really sick.
So the game starts, and even more than the first match against LA Galaxy, SDFC really controls the run of play. I mean, they are clearly the aggressor, the team that has the ball. They've got the crisp passing going again.
Crisp was the word I thought as well.
They're moving around. It's looking all good, but they can't find a goal.
Yeah.
And then they get in the first half, Chuka Lozano pulls up with his hamstring. Clearly looks like something that's going to be a stretch, however long it's going to be. I haven't seen any reports. Supposed to get an MRI yesterday or something, but I haven't heard anything yet.
Well, I was listening to D. Smith on with our beloved Darnay Tripp, who does such a great job in town as a sports
coverage.
The content's just phenomenal.
I have a show on at the same time that he does.
Oh, I saw this on Twitter.
Okay,
I didn't see.
All right. Yeah,
I didn't see
my
your
competition last night.
Yeah, he did.
Fine,
he did a great job. He always does a great job. Darnay he's well dressed. He's dialed in.
Sharp, dude.
Sharp.
Funny.
Sharp as that.
Charismatic.
Yeah, laid back.
The personality is just unbelievable. Big Darnay Trip fan.
Maybe my favorite Ben and Woods bit of all time, by the way. Maybe number one.
Ben's going to snap
He's going
one
to
day
just choke me.
and just jump across the
son of a bitch. I'm like, I was just kidding. So he's talking to Darren Smith, and Darren said that
if he does quit, we'll just bring Darnay.
Yeah, Darnay slides right in. Darnay, Jake, any of those guys, they slide right in. He was talking about how this is not the first lower body injury that's happened. Now, again, could be different circumstances altogether, but the last time this happened with Chucky Benny, he missed 13 matches. So that's not something that you really, really want to happen to this team. And you did see immediately the tweets rolling in. San Diego sports curse needs to be studied. The San Diego sports curse needs to be studied. First match, opening night, in your home stadium, and there goes, one of your star players, face of your franchise, limping off of the pitch.
And without Chucky, the offense really never. It's amazing. They outshot St. Louis 16-2. I mean, that sounds like one of the most dominant soccer games you can imagine.
100%.
What did they win? 7-0?
Right.
No. In fact, only one of those shots was on goal. It wasn't particularly threatening. I mean, there really was almost no chance of any scoring in that game, which is one of the things we're going to have to get used to as a new MLS town. There are going to be games like this that are simply defensive, not a lot of scoring, not a lot of chances to score. And we saw that the first ever 0-0 draw in SDFC history. Get the point. You feel a little disappointed, though, to be at home, big crowd, dominate the play, have control of the ball, outshoot your opponent 8-1, 16-2, and not end up with all the 3 points in the standings.
I definitely thought that we were going to break through. But you're going up, Ben, at that point, too. You got to remember who you're going up against. You're going up against Roman Berkey, right? Two-time All-Star, goalkeeper of the year. Somebody took some notes. And he had a couple of nice saves. But he had a couple of nice saves, but their defense was really, really, really nasty. Who's the guy? Kessler played his ass off. It was just interrupting everything that the SDFC was trying to do. So, man, it was – look, I'm with you. At the end of the thing, I'm laying there, and it's 0-0, and I'm like, that was 2.5 hours of no goals. And I understand I'm a new fan, so it's going to take a moment for me to understand why that's good, why that's bad, whatever it may be. You got a point. Do you lose points for losses? I'm assuming
no, just get zero.
Zero? Okay.
Zero.
So you picked up a point. And you have a goalkeeper that has thrown 2 clean sheets at everybody too. That's pretty good. And he was under a little duress late as well. So I really enjoyed it. I liked their style of play.
And then late in the game, you have the chant, and you probably have seen the stories. This is not brand new. This has been heard in soccer stadiums for years and has become an issue in the last few years that MLS and international soccer has tried to, root out in soccer, but has been unsuccessful so far. The Spanish chant, directed usually at the goalkeeper when he's doing a goal kick, late in the game, happened. The crowd was warned by the PA. Happened again. They put a message up, threatened to suspend the match if it continued. Got to the end, but just a bad look for everybody.
So I was putting the kids down, and I came back in. And I heard the first thing I heard, so I missed the chant the first time. All I heard was discrimination has no place, but in the PA announcer reading, and I wonder, is that just like a standard? Because I do reads, when I do Seals games, I'll do like the NLL objects to any objectionable language and blah blah blah. You can't throw things on the field. Kind of a standard read. But then they started talking about it on the broadcast. Twitter went insane. Blue Sky went insane. Everybody was talking about it, and I went, it's the chant. And we've heard this before. And we've seen this become an issue before. We got Hector on the line. He wanted to weigh in. I told him he could. I said, we will take a call or two on this today. Go ahead and get Hector. Hector, good morning, my friend.
Hector, good morning. How are you?
Hey, thanks for taking my call, guys.
So
Just wanted to say,
yeah, fill
Can you
us
hear me?
in. Yeah, we can hear you fine, man. Kind of, because Ben got a text he wants to share. Paulie and I talked to a couple of our homies on the Tier 1 team yesterday, asked them their opinion about it as Latin American people and soccer fans, right? So what is your kind of take on what happened?
it's pretty much it started at the 20th minute actually, because I was up in the press box area, and you can hear like rumblings about it with the first goal kick for the visitors. And then we looked at each other like, oh man, it's about to start, and hopefully they call it out soon enough. I guess they didn't. I left at halftime because I needed to do the write up, but I guess they went on after the second half started, and it kind of sucks, man, because San Diego Loyal, the example that they set, what was it, 4 years ago, forfeiting their match that cost them a playoff game.
Yeah,
and it's a bummer, dude.
we remember that one well. We had our buddy Steve on the next day to talk about it, and look, being ignorant about it is kind of what I was, and I couldn't understand it. I couldn't wrap my head around it at the time. But again, I think you talk about the setting of an example, and you hate that your home opener is marred by something like this. And we asked our buddy Hector yesterday. He said, man, growing up, going to soccer match after soccer match, he said, I've never looked at it that way, right? And he said, but I can't understand, why people take it that way. And here's where it boils down to for me is this. Once that announcement comes on, you now know we got to nip this thing in the bud right now. This can't continue to go on because it's going to end up hurting our team that we're all rooting
that's a
for.
good point. Even if you were chanting, banana,
Right.
if they told you, hey, you may think it's harmless, but stop doing it or we're going to have to stop the game.
Yeah.
Just stop doing
Just
it.
stop
There's no
doing
reason
it.
you have to do it. And there's certainly some cultural, differences of opinion.
Definitely.
And I got a text last night from my old colleague, Salvador Rivera, great local reporter, covers, Hispanic and border issues in town. And he said, I'm guessing you'll be talking about the, quote, homophobic chant on your show Monday morning. I have a different take on it. Mind you, I'm not excusing it because it's vulgar, offensive, and demeaning. I'm coming from a bilingual, bicultural perspective. Grew up in barrios where the term was and is often used. To this day, friends and family members say it directed at someone. He says, first of all, the word has different meanings if it ends in an O or an A, but, it can mean like a whore, a prostitute when it ends in an A.
Jeez.
But he says more often than not, it applies to someone who sells themselves and just a horrible person, a total a-hole. People aren't really trying to call someone gay or homosexual when they're chanting it. It's not necessarily a slur. They're just trying to be insulting to the other player. But he still says, but it doesn't have any place in a public event with children.
Exactly.
There, you still shouldn't be chanting that at a sold out stadium.
Agreed. And again, knowing now, because again, this is not the first time we've seen this, man. It's not. It happens here. It's happened before. And you would love to just eradicate it from the game entirely. And again, I think, you're not, I don't think you're tamping down their culture by saying you can't chant that, man, in 2025. I really don't. I don't look at it as like, oh, now you're telling us what we can and can't say. Look, it may not offend you. It's offensive to a lot of people. It's clearly something that MLS, FIFA, CONCACAF, they all take it very seriously. And so now that you know that, okay, you can't chant race car anymore. You may not understand why. You just can't chant race car. If you do, your team's we're going to have to stop the match. Hector told us about a match a couple of years ago. He said they pulled guys off the field for like 2.5 hours and then came back, kicked all the fans out of the stadium. We don't want that. We don't want that reputation here, especially game one. I'm not going to get on the soapbox and scream at everybody that chanted it, but you now know the consequences. You have to be better, and you just can't do it.
We need to check traffic. Mike Ivaris, the head coach, did address it. I want to get to that sound. We'll get to some Padres talk here as well. Don't go anywhere. Back after traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Valvoline Instant Drive Thru Oil Change, your trusted instant drive thru oil change. Guys, got a vehicle fire in the North County, southbound 15 before Camino del Norte. It's in the HOV lane. Also, stalled car northbound side of the 805 right at the northbound 15. That's over the right shoulder. Stop by any of the 30 San Diego Valvoline Instant Oil Change Centers. You don't have to get out of your car, and it usually only takes 15 minutes or less. Plus, get a free courtesy check of your tires and battery. Visit SoCalOilChange.com for directions and discounts. SoCalOilChange.com. I'm Kelly Danik with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
So if you don't want to listen to the PA announcer at Snapdragon Stadium, maybe you want to listen to the coach of SDFC, who before he took any other questions about the match, addressed the chant that happened late in the game on Saturday night. Here's Mikey Varas.
Just want to start with a statement that the chant that was heard tonight is unacceptable. It's outside of our values system. It doesn't represent the players, myself, the club, and it certainly doesn't represent San Diego or Baja California. It's not a reflection of who we are. We're a community full of love, support, and we believe in the power of diversity. I want to make sure that everybody knows that it was not from our main supporter group, La Frontera. They match the same values as us. They believe the same as us. They are our teammates. This came from more the general population in the seats, and it wasn't everybody, and I understand that, but it was loud enough that it was enough people. And I just want to make really clear, it has no place here. It has no place here, and if they're going to continue to come to the game and make that chant, it's better that they do not come.
All right, that's Mikey Varas. Very unambiguous, very clear. In our chat, Panadero says soccer is soft. I've been called worse by my closest friends and family. So has everyone.
Yeah, so
I guess the point is it really wrong to try to be better? Like, actually, let's try to be a little bit better than that, people. I mean, that's the message here.
It is the message. And again, if you continue to do it, that your team is going to be, and your team and your team's reputation is going to be the one that takes the hit. And in fact, your team may be penalized, Ben, points, something like that. If you don't want it to escalate into that, you just don't. And yeah, man, there's a lot of finger pointing going on, and I certainly understand it. I certainly understand what many people in the chat are saying now, like, hey man, this is how I grew up. Yeah, I grew up saying different things too. I did, and being in a baseball dugout, not for the faint of heart, when you're 14, 15 years old, and some of the words that got thrown around in there, definitely not cool to say now, as they were in 1987. It's just different. It's different. And if you know the penalty and you do it anyway, that's just ignorance, in my opinion.
My 1417 says, honestly, this is where your channel and your show sucks. You're acknowledging something that shouldn't be acknowledged and making it bigger by doing so. You don't talk about it, you take away power. Well, hopefully we never have to talk about it again.
Yeah, that's kind of the point. I mean, if we didn't talk about it, that would be, in my opinion, kind of sticking our head in the sand about something major that happened on the first home game. So yeah, hopefully we never have to talk about it again.
But Mikey Varas talked about it immediately after the first home match.
Yeah.
So obviously it was big enough that the team felt the need to address it. They addressed it during the game. That makes it a big story. That makes it worth talking about. I'd love to never have to talk about it.
Oh, 100%.
That would be the ultimate goal. SDFC goes on the road this week again to Salt Lake on Saturday. Then they'll be back home in 2 Saturdays to host Columbus. So we'll see what happens in the next home match. Hopefully it'll be a great, enthusiastic crowd again.
But again, man, just talking about the game in and of itself, the presentation was spectacular. The presentation of the game was spectacular. I will always marvel over just how giant that field is and how much these dudes run and how exhausting it is to watch. And then, Ben, the skill involved in the way that they move the ball around, it's incredible. I mean, truly, it's incredible. I watched it's the first time I've ever watched an entire match from stem to stern. And again, yeah, I left a little unsatisfied with not being able to pop a goal on game one at home, certainly.
To really let the crowd go
crazy. Let the crowd go nuts.
I wanted to see that moment when the goal went in.
It was so close, man. But it was great. The announcers on there are top tier. Explain it very well. So if you haven't checked it out yet, you got me bought in. I think you can buy in if you're listening.
When we last left you on Friday morning, Mike Schilt was kind enough to stop by at a fairly empty Peoria Sports Complex and chat with us for about 15 minutes before we headed back to San Diego. Lots happened in these last 3 days. Padres have lost 3 times, and I'm wondering, is Mike Schilt now on the hot seat based on their performance?
He will murder you in your sleep, dude.
I think he gets my sense of humor, but I'm not entirely.
I can promise you that he doesn't.
I don't think he does.
I promise you he doesn't. Are you kidding?
Sure. I'm kidding. I'm kidding, Mike. I'm kidding. Talk Padres, Aztecs, and more in the second hour of Bennett Woods coming up next on 97.3 The Fan. It's starting to get a little separation in the competition for the Padres' fifth starter's job over the weekend. Welcome back. Hour number 2 of Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan. Padres played 3 games since we last left you on Friday, including Friday night game against the Seattle Mariners with pretty much a big league lineup in there other than Manny Machado, who sat out with a little back tightness. Apparently he's doing a
back tightness.
Okay. He flew back to San Diego for the soccer game.
Yeah, that's what he was
Saturday.
doing. Why are we...
He was there on Friday night. He just didn't play.
Oh, he was there.
Yeah, he was there. Okay. And then he flew back on Saturday. And then he was in drills yesterday, but he didn't play in the game.
He got back
against
in
the Royals.
He was there on Friday night?
Are you sure?
Because I would have...
I know what you. I was thinking the same.
My
thing,
back hurts.
I was pretty sure he actually
get on a plane at 3:00 on Friday.
Was
sleep
there
in my nice Coronado home.
Yes,
I
see my family.
I think he was there Saturday morning too, and then just flew back just for the game on Saturday afternoon for the night game. So yeah,
I'm going to hit the road early.
After he told us on Thursday, I'm going to be at the game. Then you see the report on Friday, and I just went.
I was like, you SOB back tightness.
But the concern seems fairly minimal. The concern for Brian Hoeing does seem like it's going to at least place him on the injured list for the start of the season. He's probably too far behind, so there's probably some competition now increasing for some long reliever jobs. I think Ron Marinaccio has shown off well. Johnny Brito's looked decent. I don't think he's going to win the competition for the fifth starter's job. He could be the long guy. They also want to have, AJ Preller has talked about, he wants to have a lot of the guys who don't win the fifth starter's job continue to be stretched out at AAA.
Sure.
So they're ready with multiple options if they do need to go. If anyone's, hits the IL for a couple of weeks, they'll have multiple choices ready to go at AAA to come in and hopefully start and can throw 5 or 6 innings. So they won't have to, immediately jump to a bullpen day or a 3-inning starter, that they'll have guys who are stretched out and ready to go. But we have gotten a little bit of separation, and that was after Randy Vasquez struggled yesterday, Woods, against the Kansas City Royals. In his first outing, I think he scattered 5 hits, kept it to 1 run.
Yeah.
This time it got away from him. 6 runs allowed, 4 of them earned. There were some errors behind him. It wasn't all hard hit balls, although he did give up a 2-run home run. But Randy Vasquez definitely, at least results-wise, doesn't seem to be playing as well as some of the other guys that are vying for that final starter spot.
So in your mind, when you look at it right now, who is kind of your winner? Is it Waldron? Is it Kolek?
I mean, Kolek looked great yesterday. 3 more strong shutout innings. Yep. With Waldron, and he's also looked good. He'll pitch tomorrow. You're relying on that knuckleball, which sometimes works and sometimes doesn't. I have no problem with Matt Waldron getting that opportunity. I feel like the ceiling on Stephen Kolek might be a little bit higher in terms of his stuff. I saw some comments going, just want to see him get a little more swing and miss, possibly. But
wouldn't it be? I mean, and again, we'll see, because it's very fluid, as you know, the course, the entirety of a season, right? I mean, things change. I mean, when's the last time Skipper made in March? These are my top 5, and those are the top 5 that just get every start. It's not 1983 anymore, right? What about a Waldron Kolek piggyback? You know what I mean? If Waldron doesn't have it, and it's not, you kind of realize early, this guy ain't giving us 4 or 5 today. It's just not working. A Kolek type of piggyback, or vice versa. Kolek starts, Waldron comes in and in the middle innings. I don't know. I mean, I think there's a lot of options, but those 2 guys, I think, have separated themselves.
Do you consider a 6-man rotation?
Sure.
Early in the season, at least.
Why not?
If you have 2 guys and they're truly, very hard to separate which one is going to perform better, is that to your advantage to save some of those innings on your top 4 guys?
How do you guys feel about the 6-man rotation?
I'm not mad at it. I'm not.
Save some bullets from your top guys, but it's also 1 day longer. You have to wait for
that.
The Cease, the King.
To me, you feel right now
Darvish
with Cease, King, Darvish, and Pivetta. You feel really good, at least about 4 out of the 5 days, that you're gonna have a chance to win. You're changing that to 4 out of 6 games. That changes the math.
It does. It changes the math.
But if both of those guys are, giving you chances to win as well, a 6-man rotation is a great thing. The question is, are they truly giving you that same chance to win as your top 4 guys?
I mean, listen, the number 5 is just an arbitrary number. It's there's 5 week. I don't know where it came from. When you get to, it's funny because we all worry about rotations throughout the season. It's a long season. Then when we get to the playoffs, what do we say? All right, we got 3 starters, and we're going to ride these guys till the very end. You never even see a 4th starter or a 5th starter in the playoffs, so rarely, unless somebody gets injured. So, look, knowing that, and if you're going to try to make the playoff, I'm not mad at 38-year-old Yu Darvish on a 6-game rotation. I'm not at all. I'm not mad at Dylan Cease, who's a power pitcher, getting an extra day of rest. Michael King, may it mess with them for a while? Sure. But if you've got guys, there's different things you can do to win ball games. And, the more pitchers, Ben, that separate themselves for the San Diego Padres, the better. The absolute better.
The point is made in the chat. We haven't even really seen Kyle Hart. He had a backfield simulated game
couple
start.
innings, yeah. Looked pretty good.
Kirsten in the chat says Braden Nett needs to be in the rotation. Braden Nett has looked really, really good. I get the sense that they feel like he needs a little more minor league seasoning, but maybe later in the year you might see Braden Nett. And I'm just guessing here. I don't know anything for sure, but you might see him graduate to the big leagues at some point. I don't think he's going to win outright like a 5th starter's job, but yeah, he looked really good on Friday. He did give up a run, but struck out the side in the 1st inning. Seattle Mariners lineup, didn't give up a lot. An infield single turned into a run, but it wasn't a lot of hard contact. He's also been an impressive arm for the Padres this spring.
Let's talk about the separation in left field, because I definitely feel like there's some separation going on in left field as well. Do you not?
I do, but the guy who's separating himself is not the guy that you probably had the inside track going into the spring.
Tirso
has looked really good.
He's looked phenomenal.
But can you just say, Tirso, you've got the job, and then say Jason Hayward and Connor Joe, you're just going to have to alternate a designated hitter? Is
DH off the bench?
Is that the plan, maybe?
Why not?
I mean, you could.
I mean, he's tearing it up.
He is.
He's tearing it up.
And hitting the ball hard.
He's ripping the cover off the baseball. Can play, again, it will be a young, inexperienced outfield in the left and center. No question about it. Going to be some growing pains there. But he's hitting the baseball. That's what we need. We need a young, cheap, controllable guy that plays left field next to Jackson Merrill for the next however long. And Tirso's put in the work. He's certainly getting the results he needs right now. Now, I told you guys a couple weeks ago, my guess is that the guy could hit 900, with 17 home runs in spring training. And they're still like, we like Jason Hayward. Just knowing baseball my whole life, it's hard to just turn it over day one.
There's a danger both ways. And let's not forget about Connor Joe, who has a 500 on-base percentage this spring.
He's been playing a lot of first, too. So.
He has, but, he's an option out there. Here's the danger. If you go with Tirso, he's never done it on the big league level. And if he struggles, how long, you don't want to just rip it right away from him, after a week, and you go, he's not hitting now that the season has started, and you put Jason Hayward in there. The other side, though, is if you just go with Jason Hayward and he's truly, all right, this guy is, he may be a veteran, but he's not as dynamic. He's not hitting the ball as well as Tirso. How do you get Tirso into the lineup?
Well,
how long do you go with either of them if they don't perform once the season actually starts?
You can't forget about Eggy, too. And Eggy's playing really well. He's hitting the ball hard. He was hitting off some hitting off righties, too. So, look, good problem to have. But if you're Mike Schilt, you're like, oh, boy. Matthew says, didn't we learn anything from Carpenter and Nelly? Yeah, but we also learned from Peralta and Solano last year. Veterans on a very small deal. I'll tell you what. If there was a way to have Jason Hayward in my clubhouse and not get a ton of at-bats, I almost have to take it based on the conversation.
He'll be there. He's got a major league deal.
Yeah.
I'd be very surprised
if he didn't make the team.
Wasn't on the team.
He'll start there. Yeah. Like we've seen the Ruggiero Doors, the Robinson Canoes, and then, you get to like May 10th, and then all of a sudden you see how things are going.
So you're going to need trying to think about exactly who's going to be the odd man or men out there.
I mean, Forrest Wall, we didn't even bring up. Dub J says, what about Wall?
He's crushing.
I mean, he wasn't even on our radar.
Oscar Gonzalez is hitting the ball hard. I mean, there's some decent options out there. So I don't know, man.
It's like last year. Going into the year, left field looked like a complete black hole. Jurickson Profar was amazing, had an all-star season. Could we find another Jurickson Profar level producer for the Padres this year? 2 years in a row seems almost Like that's almost too good fortune to comprehend.
It
Too much
happens
good
though.
fortune.
It happens. I mean, it happens to a lot of teams. If you scout well and you know they know Tirso very well, Ben. They know what he's capable of. He's the second longest tenured person in the organization, I think. So as far as players go,
He's just had such an up and down minor league career,
but trending up.
He has
Trending up.
definitely trending up.
I mean, if not now, when? You know, if not now, when? Eggy's the same. You know, if he can get in there and mash. So I don't know, man. I think I like what I'm seeing. And again, like we haven't heard much about Jonathan Perlaza since like day one, but there's still some talent there, some raw talent.
He certainly gave himself.
He gave himself some options. Yeah, he did.
Matthew says Yuli can go home. Yuli Gurriel. If Connor Joe and Jason Hayward end up spending a lot of time at DH, there won't be a spot for him on the roster.
Not at all.
They've given him a lot of opportunities in the spring games when they've thrown out the big league lineup. Oftentimes, it's had Yuli Gurriel as the DH. Maybe that was because Manny was unavailable over the weekend. It was part of it, but he's certainly getting a lot of chances. Sometimes that's not a great sign. If you're getting a ton of chances early in spring, it can be to kind of rule you out as opposed to being a good sign that we think you're the guy. Keep that in mind.
That's
the guys
true.
who get a lot of chances early in the spring are often because the coaches know they won't be getting a lot of chances later in the spring unless they absolutely, blow your socks off early in the spring. This is their chance to impress, and they want to give him multiple opportunities before cutting the cord and saying thanks, but no thanks. We're going in a different direction.
Well, and as we say every single year, we sit in here and we go, oh, man, look at this glut of left fielders we have. It all shakes out. Somebody gets hurt. Somebody pulls a quad, hurts their calf or something. It all shakes out. It usually does. You may feel like you have 4 number 5s right now. Somebody will take that spot. Somebody will take that left field spot. Catcher remains kind of a mystery at this point. Probably going to be Elias Diaz and Luis Camposano is my guess. But they're getting Martin is getting some innings behind the dish too. He may be in that Yuli Gurriel camp where it's like, no, let's just see. Let's see what you got. But again, I think, good problems to have right now. These things always sort themselves out though.
We'll have more Padres talk later in the program. Get to the Aztecs as well and their win over Wyoming.
That was a good one.
And their travel difficulties from Wyoming as well.
I didn't hear about that. I
can tell you about the story.
Are they even home yet?
I think they are. They did make
I
it
didn't hear about
yesterday.
that, but I did see some of the most egregiously weird and soft and strange officiating that I've ever seen in my life.
It was bad.
It was horrific.
You can almost expect it now. On the Mountain
I've never
West.
seen Dutcher so mad ever in my life.
We got Don't Do This coming up next. Is this where we put A-Rod's Wild Ride into the show?
Let's do it.
I'm not sure how we squeeze it in there, but if you didn't get the audio of Alex Rodriguez, it's pretty good. We'll get to that coming up after a check of traffic with Kelly Danick here on 97.3 The Fan. Don't Do This is brought to you by Trust and Will. Don't leave your entire estate, house, kids, and life savings up to chance if and when you die. Do set up a trust or will online at trustandwill.com. This is a lot more affordable than you think. Visit trustandwill.com for more info.
Hey, great
Hey,
job.
but
All right, what do you want to get us started today?
so you want to be a landlord. You think I own all these properties. Oh, look who wants to rent my pad in Miami Beach, Florida. Oh, no brainer. Jimmy Butler, you need a place to stay? Yeah, no problem.
You know he can afford it.
I'm going to charge you $130,000 a month. Okay? You'll love it.
Month.
A month.
A month.
Yeah, but it's 5,400 square feet.
A month.
It's got 5 bedrooms and 6 bathrooms. It was built on a canal. It also has a pool.
All right, wait.
The value of my home, Jimmy, is $10 million.
Okay,
Okay?
$10 million.
Yes.
130,000 a month
Yep.
times 12. That's over $1.5 million a year.
Yeah.
So if you lived there for like 5 years renting, you might as well have just bought the place. Why don't
Correct.
you just buy a place?
He didn't
What?
buy it. Jimmy Butler rented a
Just
home
buy it.
in Miami Beach, Florida, when he was a member of the Miami Heat. He is no longer. He's a Golden State Warrior now. So Sacramento landlords, beware. Probably not going to find too many homes on canals in Sacramento, but I could be wrong.
No, they do have some agriculture.
Okay, all
Possibly
right.
maybe a farming.
Maybe
canal.
a farming canal. Jimmy Butler is being sued for allegedly failing to pay 2 months' rent. So $260,000 rent, and left behind more than $127,000 in damages related to that luxury home that he rented in Miami. So they are after him. He failed to maintain the swimming pool and air conditioning.
Wait. He has to maintain everything
Apparently.
for that much in rent?
Yeah.
I would think that the landlord should be the one maintaining the house if you're paying that much in rent.
So the landlord now is on the hook. There's extensive mold damage. Required the replacement of ceilings and floors on the property. The plaintiff again seeking $257,000 and then the right to keep the $130,000 security deposit. Butler has not commented on the case, but he's got to check to right.
DDT for Woods because Jimmy Butler plays for the Warriors.
That's what I
which
said.
Yeah, they're not in Sacramento. They're in San
Golden
Francisco.
State, idiot. Yeah, not Sacramento.
Plenty high rents.
I was like, wait, what? I said he's with the Warriors. Yeah, there's canals in where does Golden State play?
Right on the bay, like San Francisco,
Yeah.
right just near
My
Oracle
fault.
Park is where the Chase
Oracle
Center
Arena.
is.
Yeah.
It used to be Oracle Arena.
Yeah.
All right, my
the
fault.
Chase Center. So, all right, let's get to story number 2. And I don't know if this is a don't do this. I certainly would have a similar, if not worse, reaction. But Alex Rodriguez was invited for the debut race of the 2025 NTT IndyCar Series in St. Petersburg, Florida.
Okay.
And not only invited, he was given the honor of riding in the pace car for one of the pre-race warm-up laps. Now, when you watch auto racing on television in the warm-ups and the pace car, it looks like it's just puttering around. Like, I mean,
Looks like he's going 30
it
miles
looks like
an
it's
hour.
like tooling around at like 30 or 40 miles an hour. It's not. That's a trick of perception because all the other cars are going really fast. The pace car is actually going a lot faster than you think it is. And perhaps he wasn't aware of just how fast the pace car does go on this lap. And they had the camera set up. They were interviewing him on live television. Here is Alex Rodriguez in an Indy car.
Hey, Alex, it's Townsend Bell from the Fox booth. You got me?
Oh, my God.
Alex, you spent your whole career in a batter's box. Describe what it feels like inside this box. How tight is it?
It's indescribable. Oh, my God. I've never gone so fast anywhere.
You feel the G's?
Davey knows what he's doing. That's what he told me.
Well, welcome to IndyCar. It's a pleasure to have you. We're getting ready to rumble.
Oh, my God. Whoa.
I'm trying to see who's making more.
Unbelievable. Oh, my God.
Well, hey, Rod, thanks for being here, bud. Hope you enjoy the rest of that lap.
I'm not going to promise that.
I'm not going to.
Oh, my God. Wow.
I feel like I need to be on the bleep button.
Well, let's take a look at the track preview, Spuns.
Yeah, okay. I always thought that'd be a fun thing to do. Not so much anymore.
I'm good.
I mean, they're driving the track. It's not like he's passing anyone or bumping paint like in a
Still.
real race. Imagine what a real race must feel like if that's just driving around in the
How
pace
fast
car.
was he going? Like 130 or something? Like that's
traveling at nearly 200 miles per hour and hitting some rather sharp turns along the way for one lap.
Man. No, thank you. No, thank you. That's good audio, though. It's good audio. All right, I'll do a do this.
DD mega doo-doo.
I don't know if it's actually a do this or a don't do this for my neighbor, Jeff Garcia, former NFL quarterback, lives a few houses down. Very nice guy. Comes out and throws with the kids sometimes, like plays with his kids. And
we dial it back a little bit.
Not with his kids. He doesn't. I watched him sling it. He still got it, bro. Like, he's a really nice guy. So he came and knocked on the door Saturday morning.
And a cup of sugar?
Nope. Said to my wife, I always see your boys out in the street playing sports. He goes, I got a bunch of sports stuff I need to get rid of. I got a ton of stuff. And, listen, when that happens, it's like, oh, what's down there? So I walked down there later. He happens to be in the driveway. And he generously gifted us a Papa Shot machine. The side-by-side hoops, the big, long kind of tray with the balls that roll down and you shoot, and it's got the timer. I said, are you sure?
This is almost like a arcade-sized
it's
Papa Shot machine.
It's a big one. And I said, are you sure you don't want it? He goes, man, my kids are too old. If your kids will enjoy it, you can have it. I said, he's like, you got to get it down to your house. It's on rollers. So Hannah and I rolled it down, put it in the garage, plugged it in. That was Saturday night. Sunday morning yesterday, both kids shot out of bed. They started shooting hoops at about 7 a.m. They didn't stop until 6 p.m. I just got a video. They're shooting hoops right now before school, playing this thing. All the neighborhood kids cycled through. They can't stop. Bo came in last night. His neck hurts. His chest hurts because the bar's in front. So you're leaning against the bar trying to make the shots. He's a wreck. He's like damaged and hurt. But thank you to Jeff Garcia for being so kind. And listen, I know at the end of the day, you're just trying to get rid of your garbage. I took it off your hands. Now this giant Papa Shot is in our garage.
I'd like to say that you could have put it on eBay. Someone probably would have paid something for it. There is a very satisfying feeling of giving something to someone and seeing it be used
Correct.
And appreciated. I mean, that's a really good feeling.
Yeah.
When you give a gift or just even something like that, like a hand-me-down that you don't use anymore and it gets a new life and some other people enjoy it. I don't know. For me, I always love that feeling.
Me too, especially if it's garbage that you want to get rid of and somebody wants your garbage and then they go out and
really enjoy it. It doesn't become garbage in their house. Then I feel guilty. Like, I just pawned off my garbage on someone else.
But now all you hear is just Papa Shot. And then you just hear bang, 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 bang for hours and hours and hours on end.
And McKee, there's an expression for that. One man's trash
is another man's treasure. That's right. That's right.
And that's don't and do this for a Monday.
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
I was just telling Woods the San Diego State travel nightmare stories. Brian Dutcher. Let's just say that there won't be many more trips to Wyoming in his future.
And he's not very bummed about it.
No, he's not. We will talk about the Aztecs, college basketball, and more when we come back with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
My friends, if you're a homeowner, well, number one, don't rent to Jimmy Butler. But what would you do with an extra $75,000 right now, even a couple $100,000? If you own a home, you can get that money in less than a week with Loan Pronto. Loan Pronto, the leader in quickly converting your home's equity into cold hard cash so you can pay off your credit cards or start that home remodel. Loan Pronto has several easy options to let you access the cash from your home. Virtually no paperwork, no cumbersome process, no junk fees, oftentimes no appraisal. The average homeowner right now has over $300,000 in equity. That is your money. Use it, my friends. You can get approved in as little as a day. So act now with no hard credit pull up front. LoanPronto.com, 619-207-4336. Get the money you need for anything. 619-207-4336 or LoanPronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
We are getting dangerously close, tantalizingly close,
Tantalizingly.
to having 2 San Diego college basketball teams in the field of 68 NCAA tournament. Far from a guarantee, but it's certainly trending in that direction after this weekend's results in college basketball, including both another win for San Diego State on the road at Wyoming and another absolute obliteration by UCSD. I mean, UCSD is annihilating Big West opponents now. They're in first place. They're going to likely be the number 1 seed in the Big West tournament, which means they only need to win 2 games. They go straight to the semifinals as the 1 seed. So they're likely 2 wins away from a trip to the NCAA tournament. And the Aztecs now, Woods, the speculation at least, you don't know what goes on in the committee, but if they just win one of their 2 games this week at UNLV and then home against Nevada on senior night on Saturday at Viejas Arena, that's probably enough to ensure themselves an at-large bid, even if they don't win the Mountain West tournament.
Excellent.
So, in good shape. We'll start with the Aztecs on Saturday afternoon, evening in Wyoming, Laramie, Wyoming. Didn't have any problem getting there. Getting home, different story. We'll talk about that in a second. Not an easy game, to be sure. I was listening mostly on my drive home from LA, which is why I was not live tweeting it as I usually do.
That would be
because
dangerous.
I was driving, and that would be dangerous. But had the normal stresses, the ups and downs. Down 1 at the half. Playing in the thin air against a team that always gives them trouble. I was surprised. The stat that surprised me the most is the Aztecs have won 15 straight against Wyoming. Sure doesn't seem like it. Feels like the Cowboys always seem to get 1 or 2, but they're still well below 500 historically playing in Laramie. And the second half was back and forth. They had tons of lead changes in that game. I don't know how much of it you saw.
I saw the entire second half.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you saw the lead changes back and forth. You thought maybe San Diego State would start to pull away, and every time, then Wyoming would hit another 3 and was back to a 2 or 3 point game. So there's never a time where you felt comfortable till about a minute left, and the Aztecs were up like 8, and then you finally feel comfortable. And of course, still comes down to the wire. They're up 3. Fouled, intentionally. Jared Coleman-Jones goes to the line. All he needs to do is make 1 with 6 seconds left. The game is over, but of course, misses both of them. So Wyoming has a chance to go down and tie the game with the 3-pointer. San Diego State's defense steps up, though, tips the shot, goes into the paint. 2 does no good, and they're never able to get another shot off as San Diego State holds on for the 72-69 win over Wyoming. 18 points apiece for Miles Bird and B.J. Davis, who Miles Bird looks like he's playing a little more like early season Miles Bird. B.J. Davis definitely playing more like early season B.J. Davis and shooting better, which is perfect. With Magoon Guath out, other guys needed to step up, and they have. And they've continued pretty much, other than that Utah State game where Guath got hurt in that game. They made the adjustment their next few games. Hasn't been easy, but they've managed to get the wins that they've needed to get.
Yeah, man. And in the face of some real dastardly officiating, in my opinion. Honestly, both
I think
sides.
Incompetent is probably the correct word as opposed to dastardly.
I mean, they were like, this is a record. Nobody's ever seen 3 technical fouls in the span of like 12 seconds.
So Miles Bird, as far as I can tell, watching the replay and then listening to the comments afterwards, hits a 3-pointer. No, it was BJ Davis, hits a 3-pointer.
Yep.
Looks at his own bench, like fired up, like, yeah, guys, like, how about that 3-pointer? And gets teed up for that.
But the first
own bench.
The first one was the kid from Wyoming.
That true.
Got the first technical. So he shoots, makes a big 3, and he starts jawing at the Aztecs bench after he hits it. He's fired up. He's a kid. They bang him for a tech.
Well, I guess that's consistent. If you jaw with the Aztecs bench, you get a technical. Even if you're an Aztec.
Even if you're an Aztec. It's exactly right.
You get a technical.
So then
the bench.
Wasn't it Bird next?
And then Bird got the third one.
The second one was B.J. Davis.
I don't know what he said.
He didn't know what he said.
Yeah.
So he gets teed up. Dutcher is fit to be tied. I mean, they are holding him back. Honestly, Dutch should have been teed up. He was on the court. He was at the midway point of the court. He was at the half court.
I would have thought so as well. Brian Dutcher may have such a good reputation. And, this is where the constant comments after the game of I know officiating's, really tough
Really
job.
tough
No, I have
job.
so much respect
Yeah.
for these officials. Sure, they're
It's
going to miss
smart.
a call. He never trashes them, never does it at all. He's generally a pretty calm and reasonable guy, and that may have bought him a little extra rope in terms of how off the hook mad he was at those officials in that game.
So pissed. And then Miles Bird gets one on. I didn't see it. I mean, he was playing defense at the time. He had made the shot. He's playing defense, and you see him kind of look to the ref. Now I don't know what he said to the ref, but the ref looked at him. Boom, another tag, and it's a free for all at this time. It's just it went off the rails so fast.
Kind of a little bit in the details, but Mark Ziegler wrote about the fact that when the Pac-12 broke up, the officials who had done all the Pac-12 and Mountain West games, they were like a consortium, and that broke up as well. So the Mountain West had to find new officials for this season, and they're using like the Big Ten officials, but the Big Ten sends like their worst of the worst,
Right.
like West. So they get like and they rank all the officials like based on like one of the officials was ranked like 370th in the country. Like, I mean, they're not getting the top guys generally for these games, and sometimes it shows.
Yeah.
They just don't necessarily have the sense for the guy who's done more of these games, that's more experienced, is more familiar with the teams, might have, because there was nothing in that game that felt like it was overly chippy. Like, I got to tee people up because this is getting out of hand.
No,
there was nothing getting out of hand at all.
I didn't see that at all. I really didn't. It was very healthy competition between the two teams. I didn't see, like you said, nobody was getting in each other's
Technical
face.
fouls should be used as a last resort to keep a game from
spiraling
out of control.
100%.
There was not even the hint of a spiral
No,
of anything.
Not a hey, he said something that hurt my feelings or hurt his feelings. Like there was nothing. Nobody was getting in each other's face. It was a really good win, though. I mean, it was a really, really good win. They are very proud of their altitude there. They have it plastered all over the court, all over the tunnel, walking out. They're very proud of their altitude. Hannah made the comment, too. We were watching the game. She goes, wait, I know that Wyoming's not very good this year, but it's the Aztecs in town. Why are there 14 people at this game? What's the better thing to do in Laramie on a Saturday night? I go, I have no idea. And it's actually like kind of in the after. You could go to the game and then go out and get drunk with your friends after. I was like, that's a really astute point.
Apparently it was like 60 degrees in Laramie that day.
So everyone's outraging.
Like, oh my God, we can go outside for the first time in months.
They're
the only
tanning.
time in months. So maybe they were all
That's
enjoying
true.
the one good day that Laramie has every winter.
That's true.
I didn't want to go inside.
I mean, it was
for a basketball game.
It was dead as dead can be.
Dynamically named. This is the funniest venue in college basketball. The Arena-Auditorium.
The Arena-Auditorium
in Laramie, Wyoming.
Was empty desolate that day.
So the game ends, and Dutch's strategy is always get them in and out of altitude as quick as possible. So they use one of their like 4 charter flights all year to go to Laramie. They got in on Friday, minimal amount of time there, play the game on Saturday, and they go straight to the airport back to their charter plane, which is waiting for them. But there's some sort of mechanical problem with the jet. And this is all, again, courtesy of Mark Ziegler from the UT. They say, no worries. We just need one part and we're good to go. But the nearest store that has that part is about an hour away. Got to drive back through probably to like Colorado, Fort Collins or something. Drive over there. They're out of stock.
Maybe you call ahead.
So now it's like 4 hours. You got to go back to Denver and all the way back to get the part. And they go, we'll never get it in time. So the Aztecs have to bus back to the hotel, hope that there's like rooms still available. There were. Check in for another night. Eventually someone got the part needed. They were able to fly home yesterday. I think they left like at 9 a.m, got back for an NIL event. But now they got to get back on a plane tomorrow and go to Las Vegas for their last road game of the season against UNLV on Tuesday night. So it's going to impact their prep time for UNLV. I mean, probably practice before the flight today and then do a run through tomorrow before the game. But they're a team that beat them at Viejas Arena earlier this season is going to catch the Aztecs with a minimal amount of preparation for tomorrow night's game at the Thomas and Mack Center.
So when are they off to Vegas? Today.
Yeah, because the game's tomorrow. So they'll probably take a Southwest flight today because that's an easy one to get to. But that's going to impact preparation time and everything that they've got to have to get to Las Vegas for the game tomorrow.
And one more year in the Mountain West, right?
Yeah, Dutch after the game said, nothing against Wyoming, great people, it's a great city. Once we play our final road game next year against Wyoming, I will never bring another team here again.
Never coming back.
Not going to do it again. It's too difficult. It's too much travel difficulty, the altitude, the team is always tough to play. Not going to happen ever again. So as long as Dutch is coach, he said no more trips to Laramie after next season when the Aztecs leave the Mountain West Conference.
I used to have Wyoming as a territory and actually got a lot of good business out of there because they always needed doctors, and that's what I did.
You supplied doctors.
Yeah. I would
How
go
do you supply a doctor.
So I would go meet with hospitals, find out what their needs were with the CEO. Your old pal Woods in there with a suit and tie pitching the CEO of a hospital.
You're a medical executive.
Pretty much.
All right.
Yeah. And we'd go in, sit down, say, what are you guys looking for? And they'll, this may not surprise you. We're having a hard time getting orthopedic surgeons to move to Wyoming. All right. So what's your package? We do the whole thing. We can help you recruit one. This costs this much. It was
and how do you get the doctor then to move to Wyoming?
Well,
Just enough money, like
it's the package, and you send out mail and you really try to advertise to get doctors to move there and need growth opportunity, the money you can make. So there's money to be made. If you're a single doctor and you're like, bro, I just want to work. I just want to work and I want to make a lot of money doing it. I mean, Laramie, Wyoming,
not a lot to spend.
It's not a lot to spend.
Either,
but I remember flying into Denver every time and then just heading north. Up through Wyoming,
through the pass, and then you get to Laramie, which is very high, but a plain. It's like a high plain up there. And then Cheyenne's not that far.
Cheyenne's a pretty cool little town, but you're there. You're like, oh, I don't belong here in my suit and tie. This is I feel a little bit awkward.
Everyone's in kind of jeans, cowboy type gear.
Cowboy, very very cowboyish there. But it was good, man. I closed a lot of business in Wyoming, in Wyoming, but you just not a place you ever really feel like visiting again unless it's like Jackson Hole. But other than that, man, it's tough. Yeah, it's tough.
I've never been to Wyoming, one of the states that I have not checked off my list.
Many times.
How many states do you think you've been to?
Probably like 45.
Really?
Yeah. Wow. I'm missing the.
Do you have a goal of get to all of them at some point, or not really?
I mean, if I miss
which ones are you missing?
I'm missing the Dakotas. Okay. I'm missing Alaska.
Not on the way to anywhere.
No, I'm missing the Dakotas.
I've been to Alaska.
Been to Alaska.
I got the whole eastern seaboard.
Like all the little tiny ones up north, Vermont, New Hampshire,
I lived
Rhode
in Connecticut,
Island.
Montana, Idaho.
Yep, both of those.
I've done those.
I really maybe
Mexico.
Oh yeah, many times. Yeah, many times. I think I'm missing like maybe 4.
Arkansas.
Many times. My brother went to University of Arkansas.
Alabama.
Yeah, many times. Yep, Mississippi, all the hayseed.
I've never been to Mississippi.
Been to all
Louisiana.
Those. Been to all those. I got them. I got most of them.
You've gotten most of them.
But the Dakotas are what's really, and I've not been to Minnesota, the Dakotas, and Alaska. Maybe it's 46.
We could do a Minnesota trip as a show sometime. Go to.
I'd like to go to Paisley Park. Actually,
I've been to Minnesota.
You have?
It was beautiful.
Twins,
I actually really
Padres
liked it.
interleague game.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know that I could live there. No, but
Juicy Lucy cheeseburgers.
We went.
I would go.
We went in April. Juicy Lucy's. Of course. That's right. The first thing he brings up.
We go to Philly with him in July.
I'm starting to dread that. He's like, I heard a really good thing about this place.
He's gonna be shoveling pork rolls down our throats. You're gonna have us all dialed in, aren't you?
I'm hoping to.
Okay.
I'm hoping to.
No, I went to Minnesota in April. It was still snow everywhere.
Oh yeah.
It's cold.
Yeah, Yellowstone's also in Wyoming. That's true.
You could go to Yellowstone.
I'd like to go
to let's see. South Dakota has the Mount Rushmore. Go see.
I've heard it's very overrated.
I've heard that too.
I've heard you go and you're like
Sturgis.
Right. Sturgis. Who better than the Ben and Wood show to show up at Sturgis? Right. Bro, there's no reason I should ever. I'll never go there because there's no reason for me to go to the Dakotas. Have we flown together before? Andy asked. Yes, we have to Arizona.
Yeah. Were we on the same plane?
Yeah,
for that?
you were reading the LA Times.
Remember we
next
had
to
Wood
me
sitting in the middle seat. That's one of my favorite pictures.
Ben's
got his newspaper.
Ben's reading the LA Times with invading my space. See if you can find that one, dude.
I've got it.
So good.
Before you do that, let's check traffic. I'll wrap up the college basketball from the weekend, UCSD, and more next year on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Hamul Casino. Just a couple things to mention here. Hit and run crash westbound King Freeway before Spring Street. It's over the right shoulder. Accident has cleared on westbound 8 at Fairmont. In the North County, West 78 before Emerald. Crash involving a motorcycle. It's got the right lane blocked. Hey, players. Things are about to get real here in San Diego with the all-new Hamul Casino Resort. Gorgeous boutique rooms and suites, exciting new eats and drinks, and a rooftop pool. It gets real this summer at Hamul Casino Resort, the players' place. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Paulie found the picture, us on the airplane. Does anyone miss the old days, the Don Draper, where people would dress up and
No,
the planes,
not even a
on the
little.
plane? It's like a formal occasion.
I remember
when you
my
traveled
dad
on a
when we
plane.
were little would be like, "You got to put khakis on and a nice shirt," and we had to like dress to travel. Now
I
I'm
still
in,
see guys that do it. They're traveling for business.
Yeah.
Or something. They're in a suit and they're just sitting in their little tiny space on
Yeah.
the plane. I'm like, what are you doing?
traveling like that.
Put on some joggers and a comfortable shirt.
I used to have to do it. You fly, you have a meeting, and then you go straight to the airport, and you're in a suit, and you're just like, "Just get me home, man. Just get me home."
I would probably just run to the bathroom and change real quick.
I was
tough.
looking at our itinerary because I hadn't really for Philadelphia this summer when we're going as a show. And I saw on the way, because I don't know if you booked it or Paul booked it.
I did.
But on the way, we've got ABC. But then on the way back, we're just on AAA. So we're like one row after another.
I did that on purpose.
Well, why the difference in the two? Just what was available?
Fly out together,
We'll be
and then you're
sick
and
of
we'll
tired
be
of each
sick of
other.
each other. So then we had our own seat on the way home.
I
And on the
get
way
it.
home, I don't want to talk to anybody.
But
I
who's
just
in the
wanna
middle seat of the three? My ticket says I'm in the C, which I believe is probably the aisle.
What does my ticket say?
I don't know.
Oh, I don't
one
know
of you's
either.
A, one of you's B.
We'll wear it.
We can always
Change at the last minute.
last minute. They're not going to care as long as we're in our three seats. There's no like ID check once you get down on the plane.
I won't mind sitting in the middle.
You won't mind.
I
sitting in the
don't
middle.
mind.
All right, you heard it. It's
Okay,
on record.
You guys
fine,
are
then.
bigger than me, so I can
true.
snuggle in with both of you. You guys
I
keep me
generally
warm.
like the window because I never get up, almost
yeah,
never
you
during
just
the
sit
flight.
and rot
I
and
just
raw
sit there
dog.
the entire time. Yeah.
Oh, I wanted to ask you. You told everybody last week, and we can get to UCSD. We're not trying to push you guys off.
Fine.
You guys are great. You're rolling. Fantastic.
100-55 over Cal State Fullerton. Not much to say.
Yeah, they smoked them.
Yeah.
So you told everybody in our audience last week, you had a lot of people on concern that you did the whole drive to Arizona and you raw dog.
Myself included. I
And
was
myself
very worried
as well.
about
I
it.
thought about it all weekend. You listened to no music. You listened to no talk radio, no sports radio, no Maggie and Perloff, no nothing. You didn't put something on your phone and watch it. You just drove in just silence. How was the drive home for you? And what did you do?
It was good. It was similar to the drive back from fantasy camp. I did have the golf tournament on for a lot of the way, the repetitive golf, hypnotic coverage of the Cognizant Classic.
Same three guys they talk about, the same three holes. Yeah.
Yeah, the same shots, but just kind of the soundtrack of driving home. And then I turned it off for a while and just kind of raw dogged it through El Centro.
Old raw dog over here.
Just enjoyed the peace and quiet of the drive home.
Can that be your new nickname, Raw Dog?
Why not?
Yes. All right, Raw Dog. Raw don't go around here, Raw Dog. You hear me? What is your problem?
It's not a problem. Probably feel like you're pretty mentally healthy when you can spend that much time with yourself.
My guess is that
Right?
you're pretty mentally ill if you drive that long in silence. I would say mental illness is at your doorstep. All right, Raw Dog. Where do you want to go next, Raw Dog?
Let's see. 11 straight wins for the Tritons. You know what they're really good at?
Basketball.
Well, basketball, but they lead the nation in turnover margin, which means they force a lot of turnovers, 20 of them in this last game, and they don't turn the ball over much. 7.5 plus 7.5 is their turnover margin.
That
will play well in an NCAA tournament game. If they can do that, they get there. They don't give away possessions. They get a lot of extra chances. They shoot well. It's a team. They're really the only flaw is that they're going to run into a team that's much more athletic than they are.
Mhm.
With the 6'9" guys who can jump out of the gym. They don't have that.
They don't
kind
have
of
that
athleticism.
the huge guy.
But if you match them up against a similar sized basketball team, my guess is they're probably the best team in the country for the level of athleticism that they possess.
That's awesome. It's gonna be so fun to watch. It's all it's all dependent too on who they draw and where they get seeded. But that's gonna be so fun, man, and good for them.
And right now they're trending toward even like the 11 seed line, which is borderline at large berth. The Aztecs right now are kind of 9-10 in most bracketologies. I even saw one bracketologist had them both in the same region. Now they were on the different sides, but theoretically, if they won enough games,
They could match up
against each
That'd
other
be
at
awesome.
some point, which
Insane.
would be absolutely insane.
Guys, the day the clock, turned to March, everyone was tweeting out the Lamont Butler clip again. And I mean, I watched it again. I watched it 100 times. It was just it took me right back to that moment of like, oh my God.
Kentucky, trending where they're at the seed line. Wouldn't shock me if the guys who put together the bracket, maybe a second round matchup between San Diego State and Kentucky. Woo! They like to do those storylines.
Yeah.
To meet Lamont Butler potentially in the NCAA tournament in the second round. Well, that's my unofficial prediction for when the brackets come out.
Can't wait.
And then congratulations, USD snapping their 16-game losing streak on senior night, beating Portland. All right, there's your college basketball roundup. We'll come back. Anyone watch the Oscars last night?
Yes.
I have the cringiest moment of the night for you. Coming up next, we've been at Woods at 97.3 The Fan.
All right, my friends, we are halfway home on a Monday. Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. Appreciate you guys being here. However you choose to consume Ben and Woods, it's very much appreciated. Couldn't do what we do without all of you guys out there. So love you very much. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl, the executive producer. Ben Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor, joins us as well. It is also, today happens to be Talk in Third Person Day, which I don't think Woodsy can do. Woodsy's
doing a pretty good job.
Woodsy's not great at talking in third person.
I won't be participating.
You won't be.
No, I will not. I will not be participating.
Raw dog.
Raw dog will not be participating.
There you go. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. So you guys watched the Oscars last night?
I did. Channel 10 last night.
Oh.
Got it on my desk for 4 hours. Remember it used to be 3 hours, but then it would run like half an hour over.
Yeah.
Now they just made it like 4 hours.
It's too long.
It's very, very long.
It's too long. In my opinion.
They always joke about trying to make it shorter. They had the year where Bob Newhart was in the airproof chamber.
That's pretty funny.
Like, hey, if we go 1 minute over, Bob Newhart dies.
He dies.
They kept rolling him out there.
I love Bob Newhart.
Conan had the
Conan
O'Brien.
Conan
O'Brien.
Conan the Destroyer O'Brien. Conan
O'Brien. Had the waste your time. Well, we won't waste your time.
We
song.
won't waste your time. We won't waste your time. I'm like, oh God.
We won't waste your time.
It was I'll say this. It's probably my least favorite of all of the award shows.
Least?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I don't watch movies much anymore. So I feel like I'm out of the loop.
Tonys guy.
I love the Tonys. Love the Tonys. Oh God. All right.
I like the.
Are you
any of you ever watched the Tonys?
No. Are you let's not count. Let's take the Tonys out of it. No offense to you stage actors out there. You're great at what you do. It's just not for me.
You can't get an EGOT without a Tony.
Right. So but I like the Grammys because the reason I like the Grammys is because I just get infuriated the whole time, which is my favorite part of it. I just rage inside. And I'm like, I can't believe that what they're rolling out here. This sucks. Golden Globes is elite. I love TV. I watch a lot of TV. The Emmys
Golden Globes
good.
are my favorite because you get a little. That's the one that you get a mix, right?
And
Best
they're drunk and they're having a good time.
Yeah.
The Oscars is very stuffy. It's very self-important. Oh my God, is it self-important? Oh. Watching these speeches going, oh my God, man. Put your pants back on. Right? Just self-slurp the whole time. It's tough. And I don't watch a lot of movies. So when they're talking about all these movies, I saw Anora. It was awesome.
All right, well, you got to see the big winner then of the night.
I want to watch
Best Actress and Best Picture.
It won Best Picture?
Anora did.
Oh,
yeah,
wow. I turned it off.
End,
well, White Lotus was on, bro. As soon as I put the kids in, I ran back in bed to watch White Lotus so that it can win.
There was a Lakers-Clippers game going on down the street at the same time, so I had to kind of have both on at the same time.
It was... So, again, I haven't seen many of the films, so it doesn't move me.
There were about 5 movies that you needed to see to enjoy the Grammys.
It was the Oscars,
excuse me, because every single category, depending on the category, best costume, best hair and makeup, best audio, best picture, whatever.
So
it was all just the 5 movies.
Wicked,
Anora,
The Brutalist,
The
Substance,
Conclave.
Yeah.
And Dune 2. They kept having some.
Now you saw
Dune
Conclave.
I did see Conclave.
I saw the premise of it, and I went, "Oh, good luck getting me to sit through that." Now it could be the world's greatest performance. Daniel Day-Lewis in Lincoln apparently gave the world's greatest performance.
It was well written, which is why I think it won screenplay.
I watched Lincoln years ago. Actually, I tried.
I did.
I made it 17 minutes.
It was tough.
It was like it was like reading a dictionary. It was so boring. And I don't need all the gunfights and the bank robberies and all that. But my God, man.
Did you watch A Complete Unknown? You love music, the Bob Dylan.
So I haven't yet. The only reason I haven't yet is I keep going to rent it on iTunes, like on a Friday night. There's nothing to watch. And it's still like $25 rental. I don't love it that much.
Conan had a couple of good lines about it.
I will watch it, though.
Timothy Chalamet had to learn how to sing for the part. And he said, in fact, he learned it so well, he almost lost the part. of being Bob Dylan. He was
Bob
too good of a
Dylan,
singer
yeah.
to portray Bob Dylan. And then the line when they had Keith Richards come up was Bob Dylan wanted to be here, but
No,
not
Mick
that
Jagger.
But no, Mick Jagger. I'm sorry, yeah, Mick Jagger. But Bob Dylan wanted to be here, but not that badly.
Not that badly. Yeah. Mick Jagger looks great.
Yeah,
I
Mick Jagger,
tweeted last night. He looks like he's 70-something years old. He looks like
Almost
a
80,
vampire.
isn't he?
Almost 80. Yeah. He looks phenomenal. Way better shape than any of us.
Lucid still.
Yeah, just crushing. I did not see Substance. I heard that was pretty good. A Real Pain. I don't even know what that's about.
Is that the one where Demi? Is that why they had
Demi Moore?
Conan coming out of Demi Moore
Yeah.
at the start of the show? Because I hadn't seen that movie, so I totally didn't understand the reference.
I love Kieran Culkin. I do not like Jesse Eisenberg, so it's hard for me to watch A Real Pain.
Love Jesse Eisenberg.
I can't stand him.
I think he's genius.
I can't
Is
stand
it
him.
not incredible that Kieran Culkin, who
He's
for
amazing.
most of my life was best
He's
known
Fuller.
for being Macaulay Culkin's younger brother from Home Alone,
Bro, he's Fuller.
is now an Oscar winner.
He's Fuller from Home Alone. Yeah, it's incredible. The kid that can't drink Pepsi because he pees in the bed. And somebody photoshopped the Oscar on Fuller's table. It was so good. I loved Denora. That was really, really well done. I want to see the Adrian Brody movie. That one looks pretty good. What's it called? The Brutalist?
To me, the cringiest moment though of the entire 4 hours was Adrian Brody's acceptance speech for Best Actor.
Yeah.
Because they were, they played off the music when you start going too long, and they had some of the winners of the lesser categories. They just cut them off. Microphone, music.
They'd be like,
go to the wide shot, walk them right off.
There was one I remember. There were 3 guys up there, and 2 of them got to talk. And as the third guy walked up to say his part, they played him off, and he kind of looked around like, "Oh, I'll just go F myself."
I always feel bad. So it would be like if Ben and Woods won an Oscar, and we run on stage, we can't believe it. And I just, it would be me. I grab the mic and I do a whole long diatribe. They start playing and I'm like, thank you again so much. And there's been like, thank you. We really appreciate it. It feels so bad for the second person.
I feel for the producers though, who are sitting in that booth and going, I mean, if someone's really compelling and giving a great speech, I'm sure they have the latitude. Let him go a little bit. Adrian Brody was not. He had already meandered for about 4+ minutes. By the time they started to play him off with the music,
speech.
Yeah, I don't want to hear
Let's
the whole
play
speech.
the whole thing.
No,
Come on.
It'll take up our whole 9 o'clock hour.
I'd rather play
let's
Bob
see if we
Dylan's
can do it.
17-minute song than Adrian Brody's
Start to
speech.
finish. Like if you start with
And the Oscar goes to
the end of the final applause, it was 6 minutes and 40 seconds.
That is way too long, buddy.
But they tried to get rid of him after 4 minutes.
Yeah, this
and
is
they
4
failed,
minutes and
which I'd
10
never
seconds.
seen before at the Oscars.
4 minutes and 10 seconds in.
I share this with my amazing partner, Georgina, who has not only reinvigorated my own self-worth, but my sense of value and my values, and her beautiful children, Dash and India. I know it's been a roller coaster, but thank you for accepting me into your life. And Popsy's coming home a winner.
End it right there.
Right there.
That's it.
And
nope.
And who else? And Judy Becker,
he's taking like requests from the audience.
Anybody want to shout anybody out
and
there?
Judy Becker, the real Oslo Toth.
There's the music.
Who deserves to be up here as well. And I'm wrapping up. Please. I'm wrapping up. I will wrap up. Please turn the music off. Okay. I've done this before.
Oh my
Thank
God.
you.
Shout out SD. I'm born and raised in SD.
It's not my first rodeo, but I will be brief. I will not be egregious, I promise.
Yes, you will.
Yes, you will.
I'm oddly I have to thank my mom and dad who
You're
are
oddly
here as well.
long-winded.
He goes on for another like
Get
2
to the
more
point.
minutes.
There was never a point.
If you actually get the music to stop by begging them to stop playing, your first word can't be I promise I'll wrap it up.
Channel your inner Pat Riley, who you played. Let's have a little more focus in what you're saying to your team out there.
I get it. You're nervous. You're excited. It's a whirlwind, but holy smokes, man. Holy smokes, dude. It was really
screaming.
Something. Yeah.
I had my hand I was covering my eyes at that point because I'm thinking about being like the producer going, he just cut my music off.
Yeah.
And now he's talking. Now what do I do? Do I start the music again?
I was thinking like
if I start the music again, is he just going to say it again? No, I told you, don't play the music again. What? What
once
do you
they
do?
stopped playing, I'm thinking like the band director. He's got somebody in his ear. He's like, "What do we do? Do we play again? Do we start playing again?
Do we stop? I mean, yeah, he just won Best Actor, so we want to have some respect for this moment. But he's just dragging our show down like the Titanic at this point. It's already too long.
I thought Conan, not Conan, did a fantastic job. Somebody tweeted last night. He's been through it, man. Right? He lost both of his parents. Then lost his home in the wildfires. He's still living out of a hotel.
His parents like a week apart.
Yeah, it was really, really sad. He's been going through it, man. And I thought somebody tweeted last night, Conan O'Brien may be our best American. And I went, now that's an interesting. It's bracket time. You know, it's bracket time in our country. Best Americans. Conan O'Brien, he's up there for sure. And I thought he knocked it out of the park. Never really enjoyed his show per se when I was younger.
My favorite.
When I'm older. I didn't watch a lot of, I was just
like Letterman was always on in my house,
Yeah.
but he was getting a little bit older at that time when it was like Fallon, Kimmel.
It was his assistant that lost their home. I thought it was Conan, actually. I thought it was Conan and his wife. I read something about him.
He does have a home in the Palisades. I don't know if
I read something about him telling his wife just one thing to grab, and it was a letter. I swear I read that last night. But anyway, he lost his parents. He had been going through it. It's just been a rough year for him. Oh, they evacuated, Megan said. So, yeah, he was great, man. Funny as hell, self-deprecating, all of it.
Had Nick Offerman as the announcer.
Oh, he was so good. So good.
I like when Conan was introduced as 4-time Oscar viewer.
Yeah.
Conan O'Brien.
It was really good.
He had a great moment with Adam Sandler, who showed up dressed like Adam Sandler always does, and they kicked him out.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, I watched about half of it, so I could go watch White Lotus, which was way better. Way better. I don't feel like I missed anything.
All right, Take on Woods is coming up next, and you have a chance to win our brand new prize this month. And now I believe I'm allowed to say who it is. We have tickets to Alanis Morissette, just announced this morning at the Coliseum at Caesar's Palace, and a 2-night stay at the Flamingo. If you'd like to play, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973, our musical trivia game coming up next here on 97.3 The Fan. First, though, want to tell you about Prize Picks. Basketball season is really heating up. The pro season got about a month and a half left in the regular season. Of course, college, March, we're in the month now where you're going to be watching tons of college basketball. Why not play some Prize Picks along with all your basketball viewing? It's got so many stats in basketball, makes it a really fun game to play, whether it's points, rebounds, assists, combine them together, turnovers, first half, first quarter, got all kinds of options. All you have to do is set a lineup between 2 and 6 players, pick more or less on the stat projections, and win real money, up to 1,000 times your cash with Prize Picks. It's easy to download and set up on your phone. I did it a few months ago, no problems at all. Just go to prizepicks.com. Use the promo code KWFN when you sign up. You're going to get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. I see a lot of places that do matching. This is 10 times your initial money with your first $5 lineup, which is fantastic. Just make sure you use the code KWFN when you sign up. They take Venmo, Apple Pay, MasterCard, so it's really easy, and you get your money back really quickly within like 10, 15 minutes as well. Check it out today. It's Prize Picks. Run your game. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for details. believe Ram Jam was a recent answer in Take on Woods.
Indeed.
We still need a contestant for our first game of the month. If you want to call in now, sneak in. Phone lines are open, 833-288-0973. Going to play here in just a couple of minutes, but we need you to participate. 833-288-0973 coming up momentarily. All of us forgot what I think we agreed was our favorite presentation of the night, and that was, what was it? Set design and art direction.
Production.
Yeah. When Ben Stiller came up with the quote-unquote faulty stage and had to, jump up and introduce.
Great.
I thought that was very clever.
The riser stopped. His head was just above the stage, and he's reading it, and then it started lowering on him, and he's jumping up. And the nominees for Best Set Director.
He crushed it.
He was great.
It could have been a really silly bit, but he sold it really well. We all knew that was fake. Obviously, it was not real, but he sold it really, really well and executed it almost flawlessly.
Sounds like me sometimes in Take on Woods, and then sometimes
that is
not.
True. That is absolutely true. Let's see. We'll talk more Padres coming up here, and I see people in our chat going, "When are you going to talk about SDFC?" Got to wake up early.
Yeah, we did.
We can bring it back a little bit, but we had a long discussion in our first hour.
We even took a phone call. Come on, guys!
The first game of the season and the chant at the end of the game. We did go deep into SDFC in the first half of the program. So if we have some time later on, we can get back to it. Right now, though, see a couple of contestants on the line. Let's play some Take on Woods.
Maybe 50-50 shot.
Hey, is this Sean?
It is.
Oh, congratulations. You have snuck in as our contestant today for Take on Woods. Are you ready to play, man?
Oh, I'm ready.
All right. Woods has left the studio. You're going to get 5 questions of musical trivia. You go first. Woods goes second. If you beat or tie Woods, we will put you into the grand prize drawing first of the month for a 2-night stay at the Flamingo Hotel and Casino, a $100 gas card, and tickets to the Alanis Morissette show at the Coliseum at Caesars Palace. Just announced today. We're going to have this one for you all month. You can go to Ticketmaster.com for your own tickets. I must say, I'm a bit of an Alanis Morissette, I think how she pronounces it. She's Canadian, but I enjoy some of her work. So, Sean, you get to pick our category for the program today. Here are your choices. We've got Don't Call Me Jonathan, 5 song titles that include nicknames for someone named Jonathan. We've got V for Victory, 5 song titles that begin with the letter V. And we've got Mic Check of 5 musical Michaels. So Don't Call Me Jonathan, V for Victory, or Mic Check. Sean, what would you like to play?
Let's go Mic Check.
Mic Check, new category today. All right, 5 musical Michaels. So all the artists have Michael in their name. You'll have 60 seconds to answer as many as you can. If you don't know one, you can pass. We'll come back to it if there's time left on the clock. First question's the 2-second song. Paulie's queuing it up now. You need to identify both the song title and the artist with Michael in their name to score that point. You clear? Clear. All right, let's get to it. So let's put 60 seconds on the clock. The category again is Mic Check. Sean, your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck. Let's take on Woods.
Oh, that's Billie Jean, Michael Jackson.
Correct. I Keep Forgetting and Sweet Freedom were solo hits for which Doobie Brothers singer?
Michael McDonald.
Correct. Faith and Father Figure were 2 hit singles for which former member of the duo Wham?
George Michael.
Correct. The song Maniac from the movie Flashdance earned an Oscar nomination for which singer-songwriter?
Yeah.
Which Canadian crooner grew up wanting to play for the Vancouver Canucks but instead became a Christmas icon for his versions of holiday classics like Let It Snow?
That would be Mr. Michael Bublé.
That is correct. The song Maniac from the movie Flashdance earned an Oscar nomination for which singer-songwriter?
Maniac.
You know the song. What? Quickly. Do you know the Michael?
Michael Johnson.
4 is a good score. No, it's Michael Sembello. Well, you got Michael Jackson, Michael McDonald, George Michael, and Michael Bublé. So stay on the line. Might be enough. at least for a tie today. See how Woods does. He does not get the benefit of category foreknowledge. Sean's score is locked in.
Okay.
All right, let's reset the 60 seconds and our 2-second song. Woods, your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck. Let's take on Sean.
Billie Jean by Michael Jackson.
Correct. I Keep Forgetting and Sweet Freedom were solo hits for which Doobie Brothers singer?
Okay. Michael McDonald.
Correct. Faith and Father Figure were two hit singles for which former member of the duo Wham?
George Michael.
Correct. The song Maniac from the movie Flashdance earned an Oscar nomination for which singer-songwriter?
Son of a... She's a maniac.
Sean did the same thing.
And I'm dancing like I've never danced.
He was trying to think of it.
Michael something. Pass.
Which Canadian crooner grew up wanting to play for the Vancouver Canucks, but instead became a Christmas icon for his versions of holiday classics like Let It Snow?
Michael Bolton?
Incorrect. Let's go back to the song
Michael Bublé. Son of a
the song Maniac from the movie Flashdance earned an
Who is
Oscar
this?
nomination.
It's just like Michael McDonald.
For which singer-songwriter?
Michael Taint. Michael Taint.
Michael Taint is not correct, which means Sean, by a 4-3 score, has taken down Woods to start the month. That was Michael Sembella. That was the tough one.
I would not have remembered that.
And Michael Bublé, I knew Michael Bolton could be a potential trick wrong answer for kind of croonery. But yeah, he thought of it too late.
I
after he
did.
gave the wrong answer.
Good work,
Congratulations,
Sean. Excellent work.
You're in the drawing for the Alanis Morissette tickets and trip to Las Vegas.
Okay.
Some people in the chat, you know there's going to be a Michael McDonald answer. The category was Mike Check.
Mike Check.
All musical Michaels today.
I love it's the creepiest song of all time, but Father Figure. It's very creepy.
It is, but it's a really good song.
Hannah said when we started dating, "Oh, look, it's our new song." And I went, "All right, you are."
Is the age difference?
Is the age difference? Yeah, her father had passed away, and so Father Figure's always been kind of a special one for us, which is very, very creepy. I'll give you that.
All right, let's take a time out because when we come back, we will check in with spring training Sammy. We just got to spend a few days with him, but
I didn't know it's an off day today.
It is an off day, so he'll just be at his Airbnb. I would take it.
I would assume so.
Mike Schultz gave another.
Unless
Michael.
you're us, and then he would just go down to the complex and just set up and broadcast live from an empty complex.
Plenty to talk about over the last 3 days since we left with Sammy Levitt. So we were going to give him a day off. Tomorrow might be the morning off, but he'll have new stuff in the morning from the complex. So there's really no days off for Sammy at spring training.
Sorry about it.
Sam Levitt will join us when we come back with Men and Woods on 97.3 The Fan. Sean, our Take on Woods winner, said he was driving in the car with his, teenage girls, Paul?
Yep. Yeah.
And he said, I'm going to call in. And they all said, don't do it. Don't embarrass yourself, Dad. But he called in anyway. And who's laughing now?
Yeah, he said, don't ever question me. Watch me. I got this. Beat me fair and square, 4-3. I'm glad I can make you look like a hero today, Sean. At my own expense.
Are you saying that you may have thrown it?
No,
Sean?
no. I didn't know that.
I know you didn't.
I didn't know that.
Well played, Sean. We got Sam Levitt standing by. We'll take you out to Peoria, Arizona, back to the Padres Spring Training Complex right after. Check traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
It is one of those mornings folks are going to find themselves firing up those seat warmers in the car. Yeah, we're up to a very chilly start. Windy conditions. We've had scattered showers, the whole mess out there. But fortunately, it hasn't been taking a huge toll on our traffic conditions. There is one accident at the clearing stage, West 78 before Emerald. Motorcycle involved in moving that over the right shoulder. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
I was going to say, I felt bad because now that we're gone, Sammy Levitt doesn't get to enjoy the high-flying lifestyle of Ben & Woods, but we literally took him to one deli lunch, and that was about it.
That was it.
There, didn't have a ton of time for everything, and he remains in Arizona, handling all of our coverage of Padres Spring Training. Spring Training, Sam Levitt is back with us on 97.3 The Fan. How was your weekend, Sam?
Oh, it was good. Plenty of baseball, beautiful weather. It's a little bit chillier today, but an off day, so I can't complain about that. Went to the Suns Timberwolves game last night, so that was fun. Saw Anthony Edwards and Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. And then the funny part is I listened to Suns post game on their radio station on the way home here. Suns fans not happy. I mean, not happy
well, they're
at all.
supposed to be a title contender, and it has not been a
good
good season for the Suns.
No, they are not. Very, very disappointing. So the callers just ripping the Suns on my way home. So Padres fans are generally nicer than that on my post game. So, but a lot of fun, good weekend, and happy to happen.
Were they nicer though, like at the end of the 2021 season?
Well, 21 I wasn't here, but I will say that 23.
That was not as nice.
There were some valleys.
Yeah, you've had some good seasons, but you've had your moments, Sammy, for sure.
There were some rough post games during 23 where people were not happy for sure, and even the first half of 24. But things turned around.
Well, we miss you, Sammy. It was fun hanging out with you, fun going to lunch with you. Even though I did get scolded for my bad language, it happens. A lot of trouble this trip. I got a speeding ticket. Got scolded by an old lady for saying the F word. Trying to think what else. Oh, well, look, we talked about it early in the program this morning. Yeah, the holes on the San Diego Padres are seemingly getting a little bit more clarity on who may fill them, Sammy. Some good pitching performances this weekend. Stephen Kolek continues to impress. Tirso Ornelas in left continues to impress there. But there's got to be a few guys that these guys are excited about.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. I mean, Tirso Ornelas has had a great start to the spring, and he's hitting the ball really, really hard. And look, I asked Mike Schultz after the game in Goodyear, where he had another double that he hit at 114 miles per hour off the bat, had 2 hits, continues to not strike out, continues to just find ways on base. I asked him what kind of position Tirso's putting himself in, and Mike said, a very good one, right? And why not? So he's certainly turning heads here. I think you guys had a conversation a little bit earlier that I heard, about Tirso and could he just win that job outright? I suppose it's possible. I mean, we're still very early. Obviously, they have a veteran in Jason Hayward that they brought in for a reason. So I certainly would put Tirso in that category. I know we've talked about Eggy Rosario at length. I'd certainly put him in that category. And I'll tell you what, Stephen Kolek continues to look really good. He's got a true 5 to 6 pitch mix. I thought yesterday was a pretty interesting game. The first game he threw, he was very sinker heavy. This game, he was more four-seam fastball heavy with his slider. It just is a good example of how Steven, could use a pretty wide arsenal based on the game to really mix it up. And he admitted to that after the game yesterday. So he continues to impress. 3 very good scoreless innings yesterday. Look, Matt Waldron has also been good. Kyle Hart threw on the backfield
What
yesterday.
did you think of that? I saw your video. It was just a quick clip, but was there any takeaways from Kyle Hart in his simulated game?
Yeah, I mean, I saw a little bit of it. I didn't see a ton of it. I've seen Kyle Hart throw quite a bit now on the backfields. I mean, he's generating swing and miss. Now, he was going up against minor leaguers yesterday, so I don't want to make it, I don't want to make too much out of results in a 2-inning sim game. I would assume maybe next time out, I don't know this for sure, that Kyle Hart's going to get into an actual game. So I think the jury's still very much out on him, and it's out on everybody right now. I will say, though, if we're trying to play a game of elimination, and I'm not eliminating him, but it's been a rough start to the spring for Randy Vasquez in the sense that he's giving up a lot of hits. Defense wasn't great yesterday, didn't help him out, wasn't sharp early on. But it is sort of the Randy that we saw last year that is giving up a lot of hits, a lot of base traffic. Sometimes he's going to find his way out of it. Sometimes he's not. And when you compare him right now to the other 3, Waldron, Kolick, Hart, it's hard for me to see where Vasquez would be, leading the pack right now. So I'm interested to see what happens with Randy moving forward, just because the results haven't really been there so far. And I think there's clearly an understanding on the organizational side that while last year he was able to wiggle his way out of a lot of that stuff and put together some pretty good outings, it's a pretty dangerous way to live. And I would think it would be pretty hard for him to win the job if that's what he's showing during spring.
Talking to Sam Levitt in Peoria. And speaking of rough outings, nothing matters less than probably a closer coming in the 3rd inning and having a bad day at spring training. Yet, knowing that Robert Suarez is still probably someone they're talking to teams about trading, he's kind of the last guy I wanted to see have a bad outing, because you want him to be impressive and get some bids up for him if he's going to be dealt. Any concerns at all? Any reaction from Mike Schild about Robert Suarez having a tough, 1/3 of an inning, giving up 4 runs yesterday?
Yeah, he was asked about it yesterday, and Mike obviously, I think predictably wasn't concerned about it from a spring training game in the 3rd inning when you have Robert coming in. So, Mike was not concerned about it. I'm not overly concerned about it. Was it awesome to see Robert in there and, giving up, hits and walking people? No, it was not. But am I going to overreact on, March 3rd about it? Probably not. And certainly Mike Schilt did not either. You make an interesting point from the trade scenario that you don't want him looking like that in spring if you do have any interest in having him on the trade block. But I suppose on March 2nd, my inclination is to not overreact. And certainly Mike Schilt had that same inclination in the postgame.
So what's on the agenda today, Sammy? Off day today?
Yeah, off day. I got to figure it out. I thought I might go up to Flagstaff to go skiing, but it was really snowing. It's a little bit chillier today. So I'm not going to go now because it's a little bit too late. But that was my original plan. But then it was supposed to really snow. I didn't want to drive like in a snowstorm. That seemed like a lot. I've skied this winter already. To go and go to the Arizona Snow Bowl. It's not like going to Colorado or Utah.
Jackson Hole or anything.
Yeah. So I don't know how quite good it is. So I got to figure it out. It's probably going to be a simple day of catching up on stuff and whatnot, and just hanging out a little bit.
I recommend the White Lotus. Start the White Lotus if you haven't already.
Okay.
All right, on Max, it's really good.
Right now, I'm into Love Is Blind. If anybody watches out there.
What's the deal with the fridge? You're broadcasting from your Airbnb's kitchen. I see the microwave above your right shoulder and the fridge.
Yes,
and it's got like some weird thing in front, like window.
You know what?
Gauge or something. What is that?
Can I actually show you something really weird about this fridge?
This is if you're on our YouTube stream.
That I can't figure out how to turn it off, and hopefully you can hear this. I'm going to try to get really close. Listen to what happens when I open the fridge.
Oh yeah, beeping.
Beeping.
There's beep, like a high-pitched beeping sound, like it's in a warning,
Always
like your
beeping.
fridge.
Always beeping. Can't get the beep.
So
off.
it's like the warning you didn't close it all the way. It seems like they should give you a moment.
Yeah, I don't. I would think like if you leave it open for 30 seconds. Yeah, but if I press the alarm button off, nothing will make that not happen.
Show us what's in your fridge. What's in there, Sam?
Fridge is very personal.
Water,
I know.
a Diet Coke.
What's that up there?
Iced coffee.
Iced coffee.
This is oat creamer, old mango that needs to get thrown out, blueberries. I also have here, I've got cookies, oatmeal, some snacks, some beef sticks. I've also got in the freezer here. We've got more. Why is this so funny?
I don't know.
The freezer's below your camera. You got one of those slide open freezer.
Sorry.
I got that at home.
Freezer.
Too.
I have things like this from Trader Joe's.
No,
you know, so this is how we stay under budget.
Good.
But I'm a little bit low right now because I've had a lot of this stuff.
Today's a good day to go to the store. Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, I did have salads and stuff that I ate already.
One more baseball question before you go,
Yes.
Sammy. I heard Dylan Cease is trying to add a new pitch, a two-seamer, and seemed pretty happy with the results with it. That's. I mean, he's good enough already. Now he's got another option potentially to throw at batters.
Yeah, Mike Schilt actually talked about that after the game on Saturday, and talked about the two-seamer that he's trying to mix in. And Mike said that Dylan likes it, but Mike loves it. So it seems like they want him to throw it. Dylan, after the game, was happy with what he did. He gave up a home run. No big deal. He said, look, this early in spring, you want good location and to feel good. And he certainly felt that way. And he felt like he had more left in the tank. He got taken out during the third. But Dylan felt he was very confident about what he did in that first spring training outing. And you're right. He's trying to work in that two-seamer. And it's something I got to talk to Dylan a little bit more about, talk to Ruben Nieb a little bit more about. But certainly it seems like the Padres really want him to focus on mixing in that two-seam. So, yeah, little interesting wrinkle. It is very interesting to see Ruben work with a lot of these guys. I'm going to be very intrigued tomorrow with Nick Pivetta making his first start of the Cactus League. And part of the reason for that is you can just see it. Like yesterday, Ruben was working really closely with Nick Pivetta, working on how that ball was coming off his fingertips. Now, I don't know what pitch he was working on, but clearly there was an intent behind every pitch that Nick was throwing. It was one of those bullpen sessions, and I'm sure you guys have seen this before, one of those bullpen sessions where you can really tell there's intent behind what they're doing. This is not just the throw and catch. Yeah. This is not just Ruben's kind of, standing there watching what's going on, little input here, little input there. This was a very hands-on kind of thing. So look, I think it's just a good example of, the kind of impact that Ruben can have, and having a new guy in the building who clearly the Padres think there's upside with, even beyond what he's already done at the major league level. So tomorrow will be interesting. It's split squad. Pivetta will get the start at home, and then Matt Waldron will get the start in Mesa against the Cubs. So two interesting pitchers to keep an eye on tomorrow in the split squad.
Sammy, appreciate it. Enjoy your off day. Thank you for joining us. Michael in the chat thinks you might need a new filter in the fridge, but it doesn't look like you have a water dispenser in the fridge. So
no,
I don't think
there's
you
no
need
water
a filter.
dispenser.
So, no, the mystery
it's an alarm. Like it rats you out. Your wife doesn't want you snacking, and you go in there. I hear you in there.
I hear you beeping.
You're like, have to close the fridge. You have to fake cough over it. I know you're in there. Yeah, something. There's something going on with that.
Thanks, Sammy.
Thank you, buddy.
All right, guys. Yep. Talk to you tomorrow.
Spring training, Sammy Levitt, wrapping up the weekend for us from Peoria, Arizona. We'll have some tickets to give away in our final hour, some more spring training tickets for one of these last 3 weeks of games if you want to continue listening. Also have our biggest fan announcement coming up at 9 o'clock. Don't forget, you can still get your name in our biggest fan contest by going to 97.3thefansd.com/biggest fan. Register to win the night in the Odyssey Suite at a Padres game at Petco Park. 20 tickets to enjoy the suite for one of the games this upcoming season. We'll have our first name of the week coming up at 9 o'clock. We didn't ask, did you see Ethan Salas gunning out a runner at second base on Friday night?
Piped him.
That was impressive. Again, don't think he's really in competition to make the team right now, but his patience at the plate, he and Leo's patience at the plate has been impressive this spring. They're like two of the leading walk drawers in the entire camp for Padres spring training. They're both 18 years old. You don't see that out of 18-year-olds a lot.
People in the chat are telling me I'm going to be okay. Do you notice? I feel like I'm going to throw up at any second.
You do.
I just got insanely nauseous in the last segment. And then people started tweeting hot beef. and it started to make me sick when I thought about it.
We have our new hot beef merch at the at the Ben Woods merch store.
Go get
hot
your.
beef.
I can't even say it. Go get your hot beef
You
shirt
need to,
right
you need
now.
to take yourself out of the equation for a moment. Paulie and I can carry us the last 4 minutes of this hour. If
I don't
you
know.
Just need
It just got
a
real
bathroom
hot.
break. Go ahead. Yeah, just go get some air.
I'm gonna take this off.
Get some air.
Oh,
Don't
hot
take
beef.
it all off.
No, just this. So Jocelyn asks if I ate a bad omelet. I did not. However, put a pot roast in yesterday morning at about 7 a.m. Pot roast Sunday, and put all the food, you know,
Fixins,
all
the carrots
fixins
and the potatoes,
got it
and
all dialed in.
onions.
The fixins.
I was with my Yuma relatives this weekend, so
yeah,
a little bit of the Yuma is coming out in my accent.
I got a text from my wife who had gone in about halfway through the day to stir the pot roast, and I left the diaper thing on the meat. You know, the black diaper that goes under the meat.
Like
I
it
cooked
catches the meat juices, and you put it actually into the pot.
Yes, so I
So you
slow
cooked
roasted
plastic,
correct.
essentially.
All and I came home and I ate she took it out, and I ate it.
Yeah, you probably leached some of the CFCs or whatever they are into the.
But it tasted delicious.
Your dinner.
Am I going to die?
I probably would have eaten it.
We ate it.
Yeah,
The whole
I probably
family
would've
ate
eaten
it. And now I wonder how they're feeling. But I just all of a sudden in the middle of that segment, I'm like, oh, I don't feel good. Now I just drank a big protein shake too. That's
probably
bubbling
more
up.
likely the cause than last night's pot roast.
Do I look green or anything? I don't feel great.
I didn't notice anything, but if the chat noticed,
I was struggling.
Well, we can take this is actually a perfect opportunity. Why don't you just sit back and listen? Had a lot of people. I got tagged. I got texts. A lot of people said you have to pull those sounds that Woodsy made earlier in the hour when you guys were talking about the Oscars.
I saw that. I was hoping you didn't see it.
It didn't really register in the moment.
I don't even know what you're talking
Unless
about.
it's him, it doesn't register.
But then, exactly. We expect these kind of weird stuff out of you. It's when Ben says it or does it that it's funny. That you have to pull this. So I just went back, and this was about 45 minutes ago.
The Oscars is very stuffy. It's very self-important. Oh my God, is it self-important? Oh. Watching these speeches going, oh my God, man. Put your pants back on. Right? Just self-slurp the whole time. It's tough.
Take out all the Oscar.
Take out all the
references
Oscar
now.
talk. Oh my God, man. Oh my God, man. Put your pants back on.
Oh my God.
You're gonna have a good conversation between the two of us now, Paulie. Between the Paul, you work on that during the last hour.
You're not making me
Ben
feel any
and
better.
Woods.
Making
After
love,
dark.
Apparently, that's what we were doing. I'm going to throw up any second.
Oh, that's not helping, I'm sure.
No.
Reminded me of.
Oh, God. Oh, yes. What was that?
I don't know, but that's in our tournament of drops coming up here shortly.
I believe we're going to have to start that middle of next week.
Oh.
Keep
my God, man.
Put
your pants back on.
Stay tuned for details of the Tournament of Drops 2025.
Oh.
Ben Woods Field of 32 to be revealed sometime next week.
Poor Mrs.
On the
Woods.
program.
That's all I have to say. Oh. What is my problem? Oh my God, man. What is my problem, dude?
It's unbelievable.
Oh God. What a prank call that could make.
We'll come back. Final
Somebody
hour,
just
Ben
got in their
Woods.
car and they're like, what is happening?
Biggest fan, Padres spring training tickets, Rindle Report, and more, all coming up on 97.3 The Fan.
I can't even.
I don't think we can even do that.
You don't even think we can play it.
I mean, nothing about any of these sounds were made in the context
No.
of what you think
They're
might
taken
be.
out of context.
I mean, it's me talking about the Masters and Woods talking about the Oscars, and none of it is inappropriate. Oh, my goodness. In and of itself. But somehow when Paulie puts it together, it sounds incredibly inappropriate.
Oh,
for
my
radio
God,
airplay.
man. Oh. Oh. So, kids, if you want to be on the radio, my advice to you is don't be demonstrative at all. Just say it and walk away. The Oscars last night was very boring.
Yeah.
The
Put your
Oscars
pants
last
back
night was very
These
self-serving.
speeches ran on far too long.
That's it.
Stop.
Going, oh, my God, man.
Or we should just send in telegrams and then have AI read our comments.
Put your pants back on.
Completely unemotionally. Stop.
I mean,
Oh my God.
Paulie did a mashup, but I don't think you can play.
Oh, you know what? Just warn
I don't
the
think-
younger
warn the
ears.
younger
I mean, there's
ears,
nothing.
I guess.
All right,
It's
we'll
just
give you
audio.
5 seconds
All right.
to turn off or turn down your radio. 5,
Whatever.
4, 3, 2, and 1.
Oh. Oh. Oh.
Oh my God.
Oh, God. Oh, yes. Oh. Put your pants back on. It sounds like a couple guys in a locker room. You just finished a workout and you're, oh, God, I'm so sore. Oh, I'm doing it again, by the way. I'm just giving Paulie more material.
Funny how context is such an important thing. Innocuous things taken out of context. Oh my God, I'm so stiff.
Right. Things like that. Things like that. That's us. We just finished a workout. We're in the gym
Driving
locker
in the
room.
car for 6 hours on Friday. Oh my God, I'm so stiff.
I'm so Oh. Is it creepy that I want to hear it again?
Yeah. Yes. Paul, you can send it to you. You can make it in a ringtone if you want.
Oh man, I needed that. I needed that. Oh. Oh. Oh.
God.
We just got in the cold tub. Oh God. Oh.
What do you
yes.
smell?
Oh my God, I'm so stiff.
Put your pants back on. You can't get in here nude in this cold tub. Please put your pants on before you get in the cold tub, Ben. Okay?
Holy crap.
I feel a little bit better. I did not pull trigger.
I hope we didn't scare away today's biggest fan winner. Just right before we gave out the name. If you hear your name called, you will have 10 minutes to call us back at 833-288-0973 to qualify for our grand prize, the 20 tickets for you and your friends for a night in our Odyssey Suite at a Padres game later this season. You can register your name at 973thefan.sd.com/biggest fan. But right now, our biggest fan is Manny Sandoval from El Cajon. Manny Sandoval, you're on the clock. 833-288-0973. You got 10 minutes to call Paulie and get your name into our grand prize drawing. Good luck. Got 2 more names later today at 1 and 5:30 with Annie and Elston and Gwyn and Chris. Off day for Tony in Arizona today. No game for him and Jesse. Tomorrow's a split squad. 2 games for the Padres. They will be 1 at home and 1 in Mesa against the Cubs. I believe Nick Pivetta will start one of them, and Matt Waldron will start the other game.
Yep,
So,
Sammy just told us that.
Yeah.
But did you get a chance to hear Musgrove on?
I did.
How did he do? I didn't get. We were
was
playing
great.
baseball.
it was great, just like he was with us last week.
So was he like calling action, or was he just being
he
interviewed
was
in
kind
game?
he was conversing with Jesse
Okay.
and Tony while Jesse called the action, but it was
I got a small clip here.
Oh, do you? Let's hear some.
Because, well, shocker. Joe says something nice about the station. Adam sent it over to me to make into a promo.
Hey.
Current friend Joe Musgrove is with us in the booth, and Joe, really appreciate you taking the time and effort to come up here. And the most important question I think Padre fans want to know, Joe, is just how you feeling? How you doing?
Yeah, I feel great. Excited to be up here. First off, really enjoy listening to you guys on the radio and even the shows you guys do throughout the course of the season. Really enjoy it. So it's nice to sit up here and chat.
Now, how does Joe listen to Jesse and Tony in season?
Well, I think that's why I said the shows.
Okay.
He was listening outside of the.
He loves 97.3 The Fan so much.
Maybe
that-
he likes listening to Jesse when he comes on with us on
Maybe.
Tuesday morning, so he gets some Jesse in there.
He loves this station so much he will often listen in the bullpen on his AirPods.
Right.
That's how much he loves listening
Does
to
he
their.
sit in the bullpen ever?
I don't know.
Probably in the dugout.
In the
most of
dugout.
time, yeah.
Now he's in the dugout.
I don't think Schilt would want to catch him listening to us during the game.
No, definitely not.
Like he's running like our podcast from earlier in the day,
Right.
during the game.
I had to see what happened with Ben and Woods today. What happened with Ben's safe? Woods' kids pop a shot. All these things I need to know.
Giggling at those noises.
Yeah,
you guys
giggling
are
at the
making.
noises. He's really an entertaining fellow. I bet he's bored out of his mind, though. He's champing at the bit to.
Yeah, I mean, he's got daily, obviously, rehab work.
Yeah.
But it's not all day long. You can't rehab
all day
24/7. So
Right.
there's definitely a lot of downtime. He's doing a lot of observing.
He
of
is.
other players. I'm sure and as we talked to him last week, I'm sure it's also like you don't want to be too hands-on with everybody as well.
Yeah, dude.
So you have to kind of know when to say something and when to just kind of back off and be quiet when you're going to be out for the whole season. So, all right, Manny called in. Paulie's taking his phone call, so we get another qualifier for our biggest fan contest. Congratulations to Manny.
Very good, Manny.
Very good. We talked earlier in the show about the SDFC home opener, but I wanted to bring it back here because that was way back in our 6:00 hour. And I just don't like the thought that the chant that erupted near the end of the game somehow sullies what was, I think, overall a really successful night. I mean, yeah, the Chucky injury wasn't great. They didn't score. You could focus on the negative, but I would like to focus on the positive and the fact that they sold the place out. The atmosphere seemed like it was incredible.
So cool
for the
seeing
game.
Manny down there with the
ball.
ball.
The big
it was
glowing,
really
chrome ball.
So is that something they're going to do? Did I see they're going to do that every game?
I think like the
chrome
different
ball.
kind of like the ceremonial first pitch. Like they're gonna have a different
You
celebrity.
see guys like, they lead the I believe chant or the whatever your stadium has. It's going to be the new thing for SDFC.
Yeah, it's a good one.
It's cool.
It's
Cut out all the lights.
As far as bits go, it's pretty damn
I'm not
good.
going to hold my breath waiting for the invitation for us to bring down the ball, but
Why would you?
That's why I said I'm not going to.
All right.
Would you like to?
I didn't even think about it. That's how my brain works. I don't
You
even think
don't
about
even
those
consider
things.
the
No,
possibility?
I'm not a giant egomaniac. I just
It took us 6 years as a show to throw out a first pitch.
that's
Right.
actually true. We're the flagship, Paulie. Yeah, 6
Why it's
years.
probably going to take a little while.
I think John from John and Tammy got like 4 in that time. Jelly Roll was out
maybe
there.
you need to be we're further away from this, so maybe it'll be easier for us to get a giant ball
I don't think that way, Benny. I just want to entertain our audience on a daily basis. That's it.
with the giant ball.
And I'll be honest with you. If they asked me, I'd be like, oh, God. Okay.
We do a great catch.
That means I gotta
field
drive
goals.
down.
You want to have a catch, Dad? We can
Me and you.
toss the ball back and forth.
You picking it up and dropping it and it shattering everyone would be elite. Yeah, you have, you're kind of clumsy a little bit sometimes.
I'm not clumsy.
You're not clumsy.
Well, not really.
You're not clumsy.
I mean, I can be.
That's what I say. I said clumsy at times.
I can catch, though, fairly well.
How about when you ran into that table at spring training in front of everyone? We didn't tell anybody.
Very low table.
I'll remember it for the rest of my life.
I was embarrassed
Never
for
saw
you.
it.
Me, Ben, and Paul sitting on the metal bleachers.
Yeah.
Watching the game against Germany, the German national team.
It's like field 3 or whatever
Yep.
that is, and we're sitting there. And I think Scott Service is right to our left.
Yes,
Is one of-
allegedly.
Oh, yes, he's very
Very quiet.
He was hired by AJ Preller.
It
doing
was in the
something,
news,
yeah, it's in
but
the news.
he wouldn't cop
He
to
was
it.
like not even admitting to it, but he's sitting there
In a uniform.
Yeah, and we're in the metal bleachers.
Yeah.
And sitting there, and then we get up to
And
leave.
we go to leave.
And I don't remember seeing a table when we walked in. I don't know why there would be a table right there.
It's
but it was
weird because Woods saw it and I saw
a
it,
very low table.
and everybody that was there saw it.
He walks up and you just hear I'm first.
It's right about thigh
So
high.
I just hear like and I'm like, what was that? I look
I managed not to knock it over completely.
so all the Padres trainers, scouts, they're all sitting in golf carts watching the game. the whole place goes. Everyone looks over dead left because there's this huge noise that was just made, and there's been like rubbing his thigh.
Yep, table there. Yep, there's table there.
There were prospects sitting behind us laughing.
Boston Bateman just sitting there laughing at
the table there. There's a table there. Why? I don't know why there's a table there.
So that's why he's doing that. He's like, "Oh no, that's a table. Didn't see that table there." And I have my head down. And I'm just running to the car.
You got like clubbies and trainers are sitting in golf carts, just sitting there like
they're dying laughing. So if we went out on
shouldn't there be a sign like danger table?
I'll give you this. There's no reason a table should be there.
Exactly.
Never. There never should be a table there. But when he hit it, it made the across the concrete.
Along the concrete. Yeah. Metal legs scraping across the concrete.
So when I say please don't invite us to do things because we may embarrass ourselves. It's not just you, but I feel like that thing would slip right out of your hands and fall at your feet. But holy cow, man. But no, the presentation was spectacular. Really had a sense of pride, as a brand new soccer fan. And I mean a brand new soccer fan. You really had a sense of pride. They were able to pull this all together. And from the get-go, I was listening to D. Smith talk about it too, and he was saying it's pretty clear what the identity of this team is. And they want to be aggressive. They want to be offensive. They want to, try to score goals. And they just weren't able to pop one in, Benny. And Andres Dreyer was doubled, essentially, kind of took him out of the mix.
His 2-goal opener. Yep. Yeah, there was definitely a lot of attention. And once Chucky was out, they were able to really focus on Dreyer.
So then they talk about, I saw people tweet. Now, again, it's 2 games in. This team didn't know each other 6 weeks ago, right? They've just been together for 6 weeks. Somebody's going to have to emerge if Chucky is going to be out for any length of time because Dreyer will continue to be double teamed by other squads. But they talk about maybe a potential lack of depth right now, especially with Chucky being down.
Well, it's interesting because I know, Tyler Heaps, when we had him on last week, and Mikey Varas, they've been talking about kind of a very offensive identity.
Yeah.
Like, this is a team that, may give up some goals, but they're hoping to score a bunch of goals. Like, we're thinking like, oh, it can be some 4-3 type games. And there are in MLS. I mean, look at the scoreboard. It's 4-2, it's 4-1, 3-2. There aren't that. I don't know. I think this might have been the only 0-0 game so far this season. That's not what the identity of SDFC was really sold to us. They look very competent offensively. I mean, I must say
they do.
From my, again, fairly amateur soccer viewing eyes, it looks more like the European game than the American game, the one that I usually watch when I watch like the World Cup. The guys in the back will just kick. They just kick it as far as they can, and then they hope the guys in front, the athletic guys, will make some sort of play with a header. This is more of the European-like possession. Hey, triangle around passes until someone on the defense gets too aggressive, and then you've got a lane, and then you push it forward. And they're doing it and looking really sharp doing it. It's just not really resulting in legitimate scoring opportunities. And if you think back to the first game, they only scored that first goal because of a really bad turnover by the LA Galaxy.
Terrible.
And if they hadn't scored that first goal, they probably wouldn't have gotten the second goal because that one came when Galaxy was desperate to score at the end and they had a breakaway counterattack.
They should have had
They should have had a couple more.
Should have had a couple of more.
That is true.
But listen, and this is it's kind of fun for me because I'm just brand new to all of it, really. How nervous does it make you? We've got the ball in our zone and we are kicking it back to the keeper. And the keeper, in my mind, so I put myself in the keeper spot, right, Ben? When they kick, I'm picking it up with my bare hands. This dude, he'll just look. There'll be a defender 3 feet in front of him, and he'll just he'll kick it away. They're playing it back more. I was kind of noticing that. Like, what's the strategy behind that? Why not push? Why not press? And they play it back into our side of the field, all the way back to the keeper. Our keeper was damn near at midfield a lot of the game. I mean, it was really cool strategy. I can't wait to learn more about why they do what they do. But yeah, man, really crisp passing up front, really impressive.
But you would have hated to lose a game that you dominated like that. And there were some late chances,
big time,
for St. Louis City where you could have ended up taking a really rough 1-0 loss.
Yeah.
I mean, you get 1-0 loss.
Figure it out, dude.
I'm just getting used to it.
Killing me.
Killing us. You got the point. I mean, generally you want to win you're going for 3 points in home games and 1 point in road games in soccer. They flipped that in their first two. They got the 3 shockingly in their first game on the road. They settled for 1 in their second game. But if you get points in pretty much every game, you're going to go to the playoffs.
Yeah, you're
going to
in
be
good shape.
If you're averaging points every game, that's a good thing in MLS soccer.
I enjoyed it, man. I can't wait for the next one. It's this Saturday.
This Saturday, they're at Salt Lake, and then back home next Saturday
Altitude.
against Columbus.
Altitude?
I assume.
Here we go.
Utah. There's
Playing at altitude.
Bit of altitude there.
Oh,
it's a good point. A lot more running than even in basketball. There's a lot of basketball running, but not as much as in soccer.
No possibility. No possibility of an Elam ending, though.
No, and and the
excites
difference is, and just give me another second, because we talked about a 0-0 game, and that's going to turn off at least. There's some people who are going to look at that and go, see, that's why I don't like soccer. If there's no overtime, there's no tie. You don't mind a good 0-0 baseball game late, right? A well-pitched, well-played game. But you also know
if it ended at 0-0
would
after 9.
This is my question. If it ended at the end of the
Woods
ninth
would come in
inning,
and flip
I would lose my mind.
0-0, and they said, okay, it was a draw, and we're done, and they don't play extra innings to determine a winner, I do think you might feel not all that satisfied.
Carlos says all
viewing experience.
Carlos says all the casuals. Yes.
Damn right.
Here's the thing.
Casual.
If one of you guys wants to call me a casual, here's what's worse than somebody that thinks they know what they're talking about. I'd rather listen to a casual try to figure it out.
But we're not casuals when it comes to baseball.
Correct.
And I think we both agree that if we went to a well-pitched, well-defended 0-0 game and it just ended after 9 innings and we went home, we'd feel very unsatisfied by that game.
Oh, I would be
and we are
sick.
not casuals with baseball. We appreciate good pitching, good defense, a crisply played game, but that would be very unsatisfying.
And Jake says, yeah, but you're playing for points and not for wins and losses. I 1,000% get it. I absolutely do. Might baseball benefit from a point system? Maybe, but I don't know. I just, as far as sitting there grinding through my very first game from opening whistle to closing whistle, I liked the action that I saw. I did drift a little bit, though. I did. I absolutely drifted a little bit in the third.
Baseball is experimenting with making extra innings. Obviously, with the runner on second base, they're trying to wrap this thing up a little bit quicker.
It's true.
And, but when soccer does, it's a tournament and they have to do a penalty kick shootout. That doesn't
feel right
either.
I know.
I will acknowledge that also feels like a lame way,
and also
to end a 120-minute soccer game that didn't have any scoring.
Also, watching these cats run up and down the pitch all night long, the last thing I would ask them to do is play more soccer until they finished it. Really. So I don't know that there's a right answer.
And sometimes when you win or lose, you actually tie.
That's right.
And sometimes when you tie, you actually win or lose.
There you go.
Which is soccer in a nutshell.
It's exactly right. So do you think so the way you said it, you play for 3 at home and 1 on the road. Do you feel like that was not the best?
It wasn't a great result.
Not a great result.
It wasn't a great result.
Not
but
a
it was
terrible
still
one.
a
Still
mostly
points.
good night.
Okay.
We're
getting used to this.
Controversy notwithstanding.
Yeah.
We can talk a little bit more about that if you want. We got some spring training tickets to give away in our next segment as well. Stay tuned for that. First, though, I'll tell you about sdfatloss.com. Into March, you know what? It's been successful all year long. They're extending their $200 off special as if you needed any financial incentive to lose weight. The benefits are there. I've experienced the benefits, and it's not simply looking better in the mirror. That's great, but honestly, the best benefits are the physical benefits. I sleep better. My back pain and knee pain have diminished greatly. I have more energy. I lost 40 pounds in 60 days simply by following their strategies and programs. My counselor laid it out for me. Really didn't have a problem with it. Yeah, a little adjustment period, but I ate what I should at the right times, and I lost up to a pound of fat per day, and it was all real food from the grocery store, chicken and steak. Prepared it, took it to work. It really wasn't that big of a deal. I thought it was going to be harder than it was. It wasn't. I lost 40 pounds. Ella lost 37. Scraby lost 40 pounds. So many tier ones like Manny, he's lost 93 pounds. And that was at last check. He may still be going. Some amazing success stories. And without any shakes or bars or mixes and none of those injections that are expensive and you have to stay with if you want to keep the weight off. Go to sdfatloss.com, schedule your free consultation, take advantage of the $200 off, and change your life like I did. 1 pound at a time at sdfatloss.com. That's sdfatloss.com.
Does Barry Manilow know that you raid his wardrobe, Ben?
Jeez.
Expected a little more from you, Dick. What are you doing over there?
Sorry, I was in the middle of typing out a response to a tweet, and I didn't realize we were coming back.
When you hear the music, that means we are.
I didn't hear the music.
Oh,
Sorry.
you didn't have your headphones
I didn't have my headphones on. I didn't even realize we were back on. My bad. No, it's actually a listener, Golf Trout, said we should have Michael Kim on the show. Finished top 6 again, is having a really good season. Torrey Pines grad like myself, and great on social media. And I was just saying, anytime Michael Kim wants to come on the show, I would love to talk to some golf with Michael Kim.
No.
All right. What were we saying? Sorry.
Nothing.
Bring me back into the discussion.
Nothing.
Nothing?
No, it's the Breakfast Club song. So I was just doing Breakfast Club.
Breakfast Club. Oh, Michael Bolt.
No, what?
What was it? Michael, whose wardrobe was it?
All right.
Sorry.
Barry Manilow.
Barry Manilow. Right. Barry Manilow. 70s, not 90s. Breakfast Club. Got it.
80s.
Wow. Decades.
Raw Dog, are you okay?
I am. That was felt like a really fast commercial break. I thought we were just starting. Like,
it was long,
I had
actually.
no idea we were back.
Our audience is going to be surprised to know that Ben has started huffing paint in between breaks. It's a new thing he's trying. It's not
Is that how you do it?
It's not working. Yeah. He has a can of spray paint and a rag, and he's just. Oh God! Oh,
Yeah, that's you.
yes.
Me
That's
too.
you. Let me see that. Give me that rag for a second. I mean, the funny thing is, we got like 3 hours of gold out of today's show, dude. I mean, from those drops, I mean, we got the opportunities and possibilities are absolutely endless. He is still on his Michael Kim tweet.
I'm not. Now I'm looking at the Padres schedule because we're going to give away some Padres spring training tickets. And I know there's no game today.
No.
And I was trying to see, is there any other days left where they don't have games? There is one, Wednesday, March 19th.
Okay.
But otherwise, we got tickets for you for the Peoria Sports Complex. If you want to win a pair, be the fifth caller right now, 833-288-0973. 4-pack of tickets to a Padres spring training game at the Peoria Sports Complex, and you'll be qualified for our grand prize, 4 tickets to the Padres Guardians game at Petco Park on April 2nd. You can get your spring training tickets now at PeoriaBaseball.com. I believe this is the last week, and then we'll have the grand prize drawing as well.
Correct.
So call in now for your chance to win some tickets to Padres spring training. They are off today. They will take on the Giants in Peoria tomorrow, and then the Cubs in Mesa in split squad action. Then a Wednesday home game against Colorado, and then they're back this weekend on Saturday to face the aforementioned Guardians on Saturday afternoon.
Cool.
And then the time changes on Saturday, so then we're on the same clock as Arizona starting next week. Oh, you didn't realize that we're at time change?
When is it changed?
Saturday night into Sunday morning this
I'll
week.
be in Vegas. Does that mean
They are on Pacific time anyway, so you will have to turn your clock forward, spring it forward.
You won't have to do anything because it's 2025. and
Right.
You have a digital.
But how's
everything.
it? So our plan is to get up really early and drive.
So now
back.
you're getting up really, really early on Sunday, an hour earlier than you thought, because you're skipping one of the hours at night.
Oh my God. Okay. This is such a bad move.
It's in your usual, if you have an iPhone, it's usually in the calendar where daylight savings changes. Like in mine, it just automatically shows me.
Yeah, but I didn't look ahead to
that
the calendar.
weekend.
No,
Like,
I didn't know it was this weekend.
You don't have a little dot on the calendar. Like
I don't ever look at my calendar
at all.
Never. Rarely.
Okay.
Keep it right up here. It's the only calendar I need.
I used to, but now I find that if I
yeah.
try to do that, I
should
will
actually
forget
look at
things,
mine.
so
I got all kinds of stuff coming up.
look at the calendar, be a little more
Wow. Okay.
up to date.
So I'm
about
leaving.
things.
So it's an extra hour early. So if I want to leave at like 4 a.m. Vegas time, it's actually 3
a.m. Yeah, to drive home. But everyone else is going to be off to a slower start that morning as well because of the time change. So
And we lose an hour now.
Yes.
No, we gained an hour.
we
gained an hour of
losing it.
sunlight.
It'll be darker in the morning, lighter in the afternoon.
Lighter in the afternoon. So when I put my kids down at 7:30, it's going to look like this. outside.
Correct.
Yeah. Very cool.
And when we wake up and drive into work
Pitch
in the
black.
first hour of the show, it's going to be pitch black from 6 to 7.
I hate it.
I know you do.
I hate it.
All right, let's take our last time out. Paulie's going to get some Rindle Report headlines for us from some of the other sports we haven't gotten to, a little football talk and more. Last segment of Ben and Woods coming up next on 97.3 The Fan.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. GEGE000466.
Said you got an email or a social media post this weekend from a
pulling,
tier one.
Pulling it up right now.
Okay.
Our man Peter hit us the other morning. We were out at fantasy or at spring training. About 10:30 in the morning, he goes, "Hey Woods, love your show. I listen every day. Enjoying a brew at 7 Mile this morning while listening to the show. Keep the good vibes flowing." 10:30 in the morning, out there having a cold one and listening to Ben and Woods out at 7 Mile Casino. Zero judgment.
Like I say with 7 Mile, they're open 24/7. A lot of people have different hours.
Yeah.
It's great to have a spot where you can go after, if you work overnight afterward, you can go in the morning, play some cards. It's a great option for everybody.
That's exactly right. Best part is just 7 minutes from downtown. So, yeah, I love that. I wrote him back. I said, dude, thanks so much for supporting 7 Mile Casino. We certainly appreciate it. I know they do as well. And seemingly had a great time there.
Perfect. I'm so glad. During the day, you can enjoy the patio that overlooks San Diego Bay at Sammy's. It really is a fantastic spot. You can see all the way to Coronado. Enjoy, as you said, a beer, TVs all over the place. It's just a great spot, not only to play cards, Texas Hold'em, California-style blackjack, and more. And as we said, so easy to get to. 7 Mile Casino, just 7 minutes from downtown. calling in. Paulie gave away the Padres spring training tickets. Congratulations to
Julian.
We will have more tickets to give away, though, as the week progresses. So give it another shot tomorrow. Paulie says we got some good headlines today and a good third story on the Roundel Report. So we'll get right to it after our last check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Couple of problems wrapping up our morning drive north on 125 past the King Freeway. 2-vehicle accident over the right shoulder. And tow truck is helping to clear a crash on westbound 8 before Los Coaches. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
And get things started here with our today's edition of the Roundel Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Reindl Report with Paul Reindl.
Hi, Paul. All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Reindl Report
Hey, Paul, how you doing? Okay, how are you?
on 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a yeah? Oh, yeah.
All right. Good morning, my friends.
I really want you to just speed through these first 2 to get to the third.
I will do that just momentarily here. So it's the Rhino Report brought to you by the Craft Taco. Whether you're craving tacos for lunch or a craft beer for happy hour, the Craft Taco is the answer. Now open in Balboa Park and Sereno Valley. Have not been to the Balboa Park location yet.
Me neither.
But man, do I love that Sereno Valley location.
Mamacita.
A little biased, but really good. Really good.
Tasty.
Tacos.
Love those tacos.
Yep.
All right, we will get started in the NFL. You know, it always surprises me in the NFL when trade value. Every time it seems like there's a big trade, you'll see a huge name go for like a 6th rounder.
This got me too.
And I know that draft picks are much more valuable
Sure.
in the NFL versus other sports, but Deebo Samuel was traded by the 49ers, and I don't think this has been officially announced, but you know, according to all the sources, this was late Saturday night. Deebo Samuel traded by the 49ers to the Washington Commanders. And Ben, you have something crawling on your head.
I don't. I'm sorry.
Just want to make sure you're paying attention.
I'm kind of paying attention.
What is happening?
I got a termite inspector arriving at my house, and they're a little early, so I'm not home yet. And he's like going to be at my house in like 10 minutes, so I got to alert the kids.
Do you need to leave?
No, I'm just texting him while Paulie's talking. I'm sorry. How would you handle this? I mean, my wife's not at home, and I've got a guy. We've got like signs of termites, which I'm so worried about. And this is the only time the inspector can come. And I thought he said like probably 10:30, so I was going to race home. But he said I'm already on my way.
I'm on my way.
And so now I got to wake up one of my children if they're asleep and let them know that there got to be a knock on the door.
Up. Somebody's going to be knocking on the door.
Like, this is the hard job to do. Like in a normal job, you just say, hey, Bob, I just need 3 minutes. I'll be right back. I need to deal with this. But when you're on the air and there's
Bob?
whoever, you know, your boss or whatever. But now I've got no breaks until the end of the show. The guy's going to be here before Paulie's Reindl Report is over, and I have to alert someone that the guy is coming.
I liked your story, Paulie, a lot. I thought it was really good.
Any thoughts, Ben?
On Deebo.
The Deebo Samuel trade is making people understand the importance of finance in trade comp. Were SF willing to pay off some of Deebo's contract, they would have gotten more than a 5th rounder. Now that financial allocation will go to Brock Purdy, and Washington can absorb that with the rookie contract they have for their quarterback, Jaden Daniels.
That's a nice pickup.
That was from Andrew Brandt.
That's a nice pickup.
It is.
For Washington.
It is. Now,
that's a scary offense.
No
now.
doubt.
And it's like you feel like they're giving away Deebo Samuel.
So the money kind of screws them over by demanding, like wanting to be out, right? That lowers the return.
Yeah, it definitely does not give them any leverage in trade negotiations.
And the
fact that they can't eat any of the money.
That's
makes
the
it even
thing.
worse.
So
Yeah.
the money is really what makes the draft pick different. Yeah, because I saw it flash across the screen. I went, a 5th? Oh, okay. Nice deal for the Commanders. But yeah, he should make them a lot more fun to watch.
We'll move on from the NFL in Major League Baseball. And this is a weird story with a lot of layers on it. But apparently, Commissioner Rob Manfred is considering the family's request to remove Pete Rose from the ineligible list.
I'm so tired.
Pete Rose passed away in September. And now this is just removing him from the ineligible list, which was a lifetime ban.
Yeah. So his lifetime is
So
over.
he would
that's
be
the rationale
eligible for
Reinstatement.
reinstatement,
Yeah. Okay.
Hall of Fame consideration.
I don't know,
Doesn't
technically, is it
necessarily
a
mean
permanent ban, an indefinite ban, or a lifetime ban? And the media was always portrayed as Pete Rose has been banned for baseball for life.
For life.
His life is over. His family would like them to now reconsider. Even if he's reinstated, though, doesn't mean he's automatically in the Hall of Fame. He still needs to be elected. However,
Right.
they're going to do it.
Voted
Veterans
on or
whatever.
veterans, yeah.
Some sort of committee will probably need to get 3/4 of people to agree.
Yeah.
There's no chance that 3/4 of self-righteous baseball writers or whoever's going to do it ever going to put Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame.
I
So if they can
tend to agree
reinstate
with
him, they cannot reinstate him. I don't think Pete Rose will ever get into the Hall of Fame.
Does he have like I don't know this, forgive my ignorance, but like if you go to where do they play in Cincinnati? What's the name of their park?
It is Great American Ballpark.
Is there remnants of Pete Rose there? Is there a Pete Rose statue? Is there a retired number?
I think there is a retired number.
'Cause I think
but they disinvited him from something a couple of years ago. I mean, it's always a perilous relationship between the two sides. He is a legend, but you don't want to seem like you're too close with Pete because it can backfire.
He's in their Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Adam says, okay. Yeah. So he's in their Hall of Fame. He was retired before a game against the number was retired before a game against the Padres, I believe. That could have been a while back, I would imagine. Yeah, man. It's I'm the Pete Rose saga is exactly what it is. The documentary they put out was brilliant.
You don't want to ever find yourself like defending Pete Rose. Like,
yeah, I mean, look, the
argument he only bet on his own team doesn't carry a lot of weight.
It doesn't, man. It doesn't.
Even if that is 100% true, no one's ever going to be able to prove that it's
the other.
It's true.
the non-baseball.
It's the 13-year-old girl. I think is the problem. I do think that's the problem. But Matthew actually has this right. Put him in the Hall of Fame and just stop talking about it forever. Once he's in the Hall of Fame, he's Harold Baines. I mean, he's still Pete Rose.
End the controversy by giving everybody what they want.
That's exactly,
and then
it's over.
And I don't think that people will say that sullies the Hall of Fame.
No, but
yeah, it's just
if they're not letting
not to defend.
If
Pete
they're
Rose.
not letting Barry Bonds in, they're not going to let Pete Rose in. That's my 2 cents.
Agreed.
It's disgusting. He had a very
the mob connection thing is very
stuff.
shady, man. It was a very shady.
But there's still a part of me that was like, I remember back in September when he died, thinking this is going to be really gross feeling.
There were
when
good things about Pete Rose.
Put him in.
There were great things about Pete
He
Rose.
was a very complicated, person. A lot of gray area with Pete Rose.
Between the lines, though, absolutely elite, right?
Even some between the lines. He wasn't just he just
jerk
wasn't
all
a
the time.
complete.
Yeah.
He wasn't a complete horrible person, but he made some really, really bad choices,
Bad decisions.
especially for a baseball player. And there are consequences to those choices.
All right, finally, move on to some fun audio here.
How's the termite situation?
You good?
Seem to be handled. My son is now ready
Good.
for the termite
Ready for somebody to knock on the
inspector
door.
to come to the door and give me some really bad news. And I'm going to spend thousands of dollars and have to move out of my house for days.
Justin says, and I think it's a good point he makes, Paul. He says, Darnay would have been paying attention. I said, yeah, that's probably true.
Darnay probably doesn't
When's
have
your next
termites.
vacation?
I don't have a vacation for another month and a half, 2 months.
Plenty of time to start working Darnay here.
That's true.
Anyways, we will move on.
Elite fill-in.
Oh, so good. My wife sent this over to me in Arizona last week. We didn't have a chance to get to it yet, but any chance to play some Chet Hanks audio? I'm finding myself
I'm rooting for the guy.
Fascinated.
I love the guy.
With Chet Hanks.
I love him.
And I'm becoming he's the number one fan.
Yeah.
Of course, anytime we mention Chet Hanks,
Start here.
We start with the cameo from 2022.
Yo, Josh, what up, man? It's Chet Hanks. This is from your boy Doug. Doug told me you're turning 43, bro. And I just wanted to say, big up your bomba class here, Ross. 43 years around the world. John O'Star. I heard you won an Oscar for a animated movie. Look, man, I do voice acting too. Maybe create some sort of Rasta character, a cartoon. I got other accents too. Cockney. Oh, I love you. Man, I could do a bunch of accents, bro.
Totally.
You name it.
The fadeaway.
I'll get it done. If you create a cartoon character, put me in your next movie, bro. I'm dead ass serious about that. Anyway, have a great 43rd birthday, bro. And congratulations. More life. Doug.
I'm not sure about his newest venture. Did you guys know that Chet Hanks, who I think he was a rapper at one point, definitely the Rastafarian stuff, he's now a country singer. He's got a
This is
band.
my least favorite progression in the history of music.
You can't say he doesn't just try things. He tries a lot of things.
I feel bad for him in that. Like, okay, it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
All right. You grew up with Tom Hanks being your dad. You didn't want for much, is my guess, right? Now, really hard for somebody to go out and establish their own identity after your dad is
and
Tom
you can't
Hanks.
be critical of someone going out and pursuing their passions
Correct.
and trying to be creative. However, if Tom Hanks wasn't his dad and he was just Chet Stevens or whatever, Chet Stevens,
Chet Higgins,
he would have been told by, okay, you just don't have it, kid, and he'd be working, in an office somewhere at this point. But he has the ability to continue
to try different passions until one maybe hits.
Yeah, maybe.
So this progression, though, of like, I'm a rapper, I can't really rap, I'm not doing well at rapping. I'm going to go do
Post
country.
Malone.
You know how I feel about country music. It's sacred to me. And this doesn't feel very sacred. And it doesn't feel very.
Have you heard it?
It doesn't feel very.
I haven't heard it.
It's not authentic. Well, I know it's not authentic because you grew up in Malibu. There's nothing country about you.
You have to grow up in Nashville or in Texas to be a country music star.
For me to believe it, yes, 100%. You have to have lived it.
Got some bad news for your brother-in-law.
Oh, that was a shock. Oh boy.
Well, I mean, he's
Anyways,
he's a successful country artist. He grew up here.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
So here's Leaving Hollywood by the band. It's a band. It's him and one other guy.
Okay.
Something Out West.
Hold on. Brandon
is the name
says,
of
I
the
grew
group.
up in San Diego and love country. That's not what I'm saying. Brandon, you're not a country singer. You're not telling me about what life was like on the ranch and drinking whiskey and smoking cigarettes. And
Is that country, though, anymore?
You're right. It used to be. You know what I'm saying, Brandon? That's what my point.
Most
I love
people
country,
in
too.
Texas don't grow up on ranches.
It's true.
either.
I didn't.
You didn't.
I'm also not a recording artist.
I know.
I'm not trying to get you to believe what I'm saying about how I grew up
All
and
right.
my lifestyle, right? So Chet now grew up in Malibu, tried to be a rapper. Now that's over. So now I'm going to try country. And this is his band.
Yeah, Something Out West. Leaving Hollywood.
Yeah, you're all packed up and leaving Hollywood. In a town where life happens so fast.
I've heard worse
I have
voices. Yeah.
I should have known that this would never last.
The music video. I was watching it yesterday. It's something.
Would never last.
It's like doing wheelies on a motorcycle.
This is way more your speed than a lot of country today.
If you wonder it
Wait.
not be just.
That's him singing?
Yeah.
It's really good. Talented.
Yeah, I know a little dark bar on the edge of iron.
Jamaican country would be different, Keegan says. That
And
would
he's
be
singing about leaving Hollywood.
Yeah,
He's making it
getting out of here.
personal about himself.
But you had yours, so I'll have mine. And get away from California.
Not bad, man.
It's not bad.
Chet's pretty good.
That is, yeah.
I mean,
Leaving
that's not-
Hollywood.
That's not
More
bad.
life job.
Doug. I haven't seen this show yet. There's a new show out on Netflix. Just came out. I believe it's loosely based on the life of Jeannie Buss.
Okay.
Kate Hudson is kind of the Jeannie Buss role, takes over a basketball team. Everybody is saying Chet Hanks steals the performance.
I believe it.
He's
dude.
phenomenal.
He's
in it.
so dynamic.
So I'm gonna have to start that.
What's it called?
Running Point is the name of the show.
Never even heard of
I
it.
haven't either.
Just came out.
Basketball. Then
Lakers.
Chet Hanks. All right. Hey, maybe he found a little something there. Chet Hanks.
I gotta get him on the show.
I think he would do it.
I think so. Like, he's a big name, especially right now, but
His dad's a big name. He's Chet Hanks.
he's starring in one of the
He's not
top shows
true.
on Netflix right now. He got a new band.
Correct me if I'm wrong with the.
But I
He's
feel
not
like he'll
doing
do
the
it.
cameos anymore because you tried to buy one and
I
he
think
was
we did.
unavailable.
Oh, it was
Are you
unavailable.
kidding me?
Yeah,
He's unavailable.
yeah,
Turned it off.
yeah.
Hmm.
But we might be. I mean, if he wants to promote his career, going on radio is a good way to do that. We could offer him free promotion to come on our show.
Be good for his brand.
Explore your Chet Hanks fascination on the air with him.
I am definitely, Chris Mack says Nepo baby. Obviously, like one of the biggest.
Yes.
No question.
I mean, it's only
That
a
doesn't-
bad thing when you try to deny it, though.
Correct.
Yeah,
Like-
I was gonna say that doesn't make him a bad
No,
person.
No, he's got to wear it.
It's not his fault. He was born to.
He's like, I didn't
two
ask for this.
stars.
I was just born. Like, my parents are super.
There's always a very harsh, like, negative connotation with nepotism.
Yeah.
And it's not their fault.
No, they just.
It's how do you live? How do you
What's the expression? Born on third base, and you think you hit
when
a
you
triple.
think you hit a triple.
As long as you know you were born
As long as you
there,
know you
can-
were born on third.
and still try to do something with your life and do something good. Doesn't matter what base you were born on.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to get him in the door. And again, like you said, it affords him the opportunity to continue to try, all right, this isn't working. Now I'm going to go do I'm going to be a sculptor. Now I'm going to do pottery, things like that. Like he can do whatever he wants because he's got the means. But I can't hate on him for that. Oh, I love it. He's very dynamic. There's something about him that he rubs me the right way.
Big up your bomber class here, Ross 43.
Yeah, you're a Lakers Nepo, baby, but we love you
true.
anyway. All right.
That's why I forged my career outside of the Lakers.
That's true.
I wanted to forge my own path.
That's true. I
did actually get to meet Keith Erickson. He was at the rap party on Saturday for my grandma. He was the former color analyst with Jake Hearn.
Well, I was going to say, for those of us who don't know who Keith Erickson
he was
are,
an
who's
NBA
that?
player and broadcaster. So that was cool.
That's
when I
nice.
got to say, hey, you're one of my inspirations to get into this line of work.
Oh, that's nice.
All right, Annie and Elston are coming up next. Appreciate everybody for joining us the last 4 hours. We'll be back tomorrow at 6 a.m. for our executive producer, Paul Reindl and Stephen Woods. I'm Ben Higgins. Have a great rest of your Monday from all of us here at San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. So long.